Nationwide island survival, now beginning. Rule 1. Teams of 4, assigned at random. Starting island size, for square meters. Rule 2. Every 6 days, the sea freezes over. Rule 3. Every 7 days, the world is struck by a random natural disaster. Rule 4. Beware sea beast attacks. Day 1 is a grace period. No beast will come ashore. You have 30 seconds to create a player ID. If you fail, your real name will be used. My head was still mush. Half conscious, I typed 2 characters. Summer. ID confirmed. Player Summer has entered the game. Good luck. The grating chime faded. I opened my eyes, and sunlight stabbed into them like needles. Where the hell did they dump me? I pushed myself upright and gave my head a hard shake. The moment my vision focused, I froze. 3 women were sitting right next to me. The closest one, waist-length hair, skin like jade, a cold, glacial set to her brow and eyes, Xia Yubing, the most famous beauty in the management department. Beside her, a knockout figure and a pair of fox-like eyes glinting with equal parts allure and mischief. Luo Li, the white-haired girl from computer science. And the last, a crop top, ultra-short denim shorts, gentle enough to melt your heart. Qin Xian, the dream girl half the guys in the music department would never get. The 3 most famous beauties at Jiangxing University. All right here. My eyebrow twitched. Was this good luck, or very, very bad? It's you? I've seen you around a few times. Luoli spoke first. We had traded a few words once, and that was it. She was a campus celebrity with a crowd around her. I was a nobody. 2 different worlds. I'm Xia Shang. Sophomore. Same school as you 3. I gave a nod. Qin Xian spoke up too. I'm Qin Xian. This is Xia Yubing, and this little one's Luo Li. I could tell. She didn't understand the situation yet, but figured her luck wasn't bad. 2 best friends at her side, plus a junior who looked harmless enough. In her eyes, my unbothered calm probably read as steady and dependable. Luo Li, meanwhile, yanked both her friends' heads down, and the 3 of them huddled up, whispering. Too bad this patch of sand was the size of a palm. I could hear every word. What now? Island survival. But he's so scrawny. Scrawny still beats 3 girls, doesn't it? Qin Xian reasoned. Cut it out. Luo Li waved her off impatiently. The rules said the sea freezes in 6 days and the islands connect, right? Worst case, we tough it out for 6 days, then go find a stronger team. The 2 exchanged a look. I could guess their plan. With their looks, the moment word got out, teams willing to take them in would line up to the horizon. Plenty of time to go pick a stronger crew later. At that thought, Luo Li reached over and poked my arm with a slender finger. Just so we're clear, there's 3 of us, and if you try anything funny, I'll choke you out. Yubing knows Taekwondo, and Xiao Xian knows Judo, and the 3 of us have combo moves. Xia Yubing, question mark. Qin Xian, since when do I know Judo? Luo Li leaned back in and hissed under her breath. You don't? Well, you do now. I'm just scaring him. Think about it. He's the only guy here. What if he gets ideas? Xia Yubing and Qin Xian both shot me a glance, then went quiet. It wasn't that they had a problem with me. More likely, landing in a place like this had stripped away any sense of safety, and they'd put their guard up on instinct. Qin Xian opened her mouth like she wanted to smooth things over, then swallowed it. I rolled my eyes internally. Ideas? In a spot this cramped, you'd splash your own shoes just taking a leak. What ideas? Relax, I said evenly. Since you're all leaving in 6 days, let me lay it out. For these 6 days, everyone fends for themselves. We stay out of each other's way. I had no interest in getting tangled up with 3 high and mighty campus queens. Island survival, staying alive came first. So what if they were upperclassmen? Could I eat that? Drink it? Hearing me put it so flatly, Luo Li seemed to feel she'd gone too far and quickly backpedaled with a smile. Look, you behave, and I won't mind if you ride our coattails later. Let's just keep the peace these few days, deal? Like I said, everyone for themselves, no business with each other. That is peace. The words were barely out when the game announcement boomed through every mind again. All players are in position. Talent Awakening is now active. Resource chests have been dropped in the surrounding waters. Use the rod in your starting pack to fish them up. Chest tiers: common, bronze, silver, gold, diamond, epic, legendary, mythic. Every tier has a chance to be caught. The better your rod, the higher your odds of rare chests. Chests may yield food, fresh water, wood, stone, clay, any resource you need to build. Leaderboards, the exchange, and chat are now open. Survive. Build your island. Talent awakening. I perked up and pulled open my personal panel. Xia Shang, human, bloodline, unawakened, strength, 5 agility, 5 stamina, 4 average college student. Talent, pending activation, tiers F to SSS. Awakened talent. Rolling at random. Drawing. Your final talent is. I didn't even catch the rest. Boom. Golden light erupted skyward. A pillar of light, blindingly brilliant, crashed down from the heavens and swallowed me whole. Beneath my feet, the tiny 4 square meter sandbar shuddered violently under the sheer pressure. SSS tier. Congratulations, you have obtained the world's only SSS tier talent. Save the goddess. Effect 1. For every female player on your team with an overall rating above 90, if her talent is below A tier, you unlock the continuous production of 1 base resource. Initial, 1 point per second. Effect 2. A B-tier goddess on your team unlocks continuous production of 1 base resource, 2 points per second. Effect 3. C-tier goddess, 3 points per second. Effect 4. D-tier goddess, 5 points per second. Effect 5. E-tier goddess. You gain all her base stat points outright. Effect 6. F-tier goddess. You copy her talent outright and confuse and upgrade it. The world's only? I held my breath, forced down the surge of glee, and read the whole thing over and over. So basically, as long as there's a goddess on this island who clears the rating bar but has a garbage talent, I rake in resources doing nothing? And the further down the alphabet, the more absurd the reward? I shot a reflexive glance at the 3 beauties, all of them frozen stiff by the golden light, and my throat bobbed. Ladies, please just stand there and look pretty. What was that? Luo Li and Qin Xin were dumbstruck. Even the always icy Xia Yubing had her eyes wide and her lips parted, staring blankly at that heaven-piercing column of gold. The sheer, sacred dread of it made it hard for them just to breathe. The light faded, and I came back into focus. Right then, a prompt popped up on Qin Xin's panel too. She read it and let out a despairing wail. Huh? Why am I only B tier? Xiao Xin, you awakened too? Xia Yubing asked, curious. What's the effect? Her voice was cool. Just hearing it sent a faint chill down your spine. Qin Xin looked ready to cry. Plant growth. It speeds up how fast plants grow. But this is an island. What good is that? Especially after watching my world-shattering awakening. Glancing back at her own B tier was enough to make anyone furious. Xia Yubing took her hand to comfort her. Maybe it'll come in handy later. B tier is already really good. That only made Qin Xin sadder. But it's useless right now? What do I do, Yubing? No, it's incredibly useful, ladies. Glee surged in my chest. B tier meant double resource output. How is that useless? By now, Luo Li had given up on mocking Qin Xin. She grabbed my arm and shook it. Hey, what did you awaken? SSS. I could feel the regret simmering in her. No matter how unimpressed she'd been, she should have waited until after he awakened. Now I was holding a monster of a talent, and if all 3 of them came up short next to me, then the one who'd just made a big speech about parting ways in 6 days would look like a total clown. No matter how she shook me, I didn't budge. I just said 2 words. It's a secret. TCH. Fine, don't tell me. Who cares? Luo Li's face flipped in an instant, and she let go with a huff. Ignoring them, I pulled my panel back up. SSS tier talent. Save the goddess. Worlds only. Team Goddess Qin Xin would supply unlocked. Talent tier. B. Effect 2 triggered. All resource gain times 2. Current output. Wood, 2 points per second. 2 a second. That's 7,200 an hour. Forget fishing for chests. With output like that, what couldn't I buy? The thought had barely landed when I saw it in the corner of my inventory. The wood counter ticking up like crazy, right before my eyes. Wood plus 2. Wood plus 2. Wood plus 2. In the span of a few breaths, my wood stockpile had already cleared 20. I'll try my luck too. Xia Yubing spoke up softly. The moment Xia Yubing spoke, a sharp little hope flared in my chest. It was a bit underhanded, but right then I was desperately rooting for this Ice Queen's talent to be anything but some broken A-tier or S-tier monster. Come on, please, anything below a works just fine. Teammate Xia Yubing has awakened a C-tier talent. Player gains stone supply, 3 points per second. Xia Yubing age 22 height 1.75 m senior overall rating, 92. Yes, glee surged through me. 3 stone a second, and that's per second. Xia Yubing gave a wry little smile. Looks like I'm even unluckier than Xiao Xian. What was left of Luo Li's hope was nearly snuffed out. No way. Yubing, what's your effect? Even worse than Xiao Xian's. Xia Yubing reached out a slender hand and gently laid it against Luo Li's cheek. C-tier. Frost aura. A wave of cold seeped out from her palm, and it kept dropping. Soon Luo Li's skin started to prickle and tingle, like she was pressed against a block of ice. She hurriedly pried the hand off. We're done. We're done. If you two are both this useless, how are we supposed to survive these 6 days? 1 plant fertilizer, 1 walking refrigerator. I almost couldn't keep a straight face. That combo, what was it good for? The sun beat down mercilessly overhead. Luo Li, deflated like a popped balloon, threw her arms around Xia Yubing, buried her face in her, and groaned. We're doomed. Qin Xian came over and patted her shoulder. There, you've still got you. She cupped Luo Li's hands and said with utter gravity, Little Luo Li, you're our village's last hope. If you turn out to be useless too, the 3 of us are completely finished. With that, she straightened up and struck a thoroughly Chinibyu pose. Right hand pointed at the sky, left hand half covering one eye. Oh darkness, fear me. Before she could finish the line, Xia Yubing rapped her on the forehead. Ahem. Qin Xian cleared her throat. Oh God, please grant me a talent worthy of saving these 2 losers. Teammate Luo Li has awakened a D-tier talent. Player unlocks clay supply, 5 points per second. Luo Li age 22 height 1.55 m senior online VTuber overall rating, 91. Uffed. I nearly laughed out loud. She'd built it up like the big one was coming, and instead she dropped a big steaming dud. D-tier, 5 clay a second. Beautiful. Wah. Luo Li's wail rang out across the whole little sandbar. Refusing to believe it, she swung a tiny fist at the sand with everything she had, and only dug a shallow dent, scraping her knuckles raw and bringing tears to her eyes. Why is it AD? And a totally useless strength buff at that. At least you 2 are fertilizer and a fridge. My talent's basically mocking me for being all brawn and no brain. Stupid garbage game. She'd probably figured she'd be the chosen one who'd turn the tide, hoping for an earth-shaking scene like mine. And what did she get? AD. The 3 of them traded looks, real panic flickering in their eyes for the first time. Just minutes ago they'd sworn up and down they'd leave in 6 days, draw a clean line, and stay out of my business. And now? Forget 6 days. Whether they'd even make it to sunrise tomorrow was an open question. 3 pairs of eyes swung onto me in unison, like they wanted to swallow me whole. The look in them made me flinch. Grief is not shared between people. How true that is. Because right now, I was practically losing it from joy. 3 campus queens, pure ornamental vases, completely useless. But useless was their greatest use. Vases are wonderful, easy on the eyes and spewing resources. Stone at 10,800 an hour, and clay even more obscene, 18,000 an hour. Seeing me sit there unresponsive, Luo Li snorted and yanked a rod out of her pack. Don't bother looking at him. He's a blockhead. No help at all. We rely on ourselves, fish. Xia Yubing and Qin Xian nodded silently and pulled out their own rods. The 4 of us claimed the 4 corners of the dune and settled in for a long stretch of fishing. Nearly an hour. Not a single bite. The sun blazed hotter, the temperature climbing, and with the damp, salty wind sucking the moisture out of them, the 3 of them, lips still painted, started to crack and peel. Qin Xian spoke quietly, full of reluctance. I'll ask Lin Feng, see if he has any water. She really didn't want to beg at a moment like this, especially knowing he'd lose his mind with jealousy once he learned there was a guy on the island. Just thinking about it gave her a headache. I'll ask Hu Ming too, Luo Li chimed in. She was parched and miserable. Since when did she ever fret over being thirsty? Back home, one look from her and a crowd would scramble to buy her bubble tea, more than she could ever drink. Now, how the tables had turned. Only Xia Yubing stayed silent. She really didn't want to reach out to her boyfriend, Xiao Shangnan. Let's wait a bit. It's only been an hour. Let's put in some effort ourselves first. Yubing, I'm dying of thirst. And the odds on these stupid chests are way too low. On that, I actually agreed. The chests in the sea work just like fish. It's all probability. But chest fishing has no bait. It's pure luck, and the odds of coming up empty are far worse than real fishing. Who fishes for a whole hour without their float so much as twitching? Not that it mattered to me. I was just idling, sitting back, waiting for resources to explode. Once the numbers were up, I'd raid the exchange clean. With enough resources, what couldn't I buy? It moved. Qin Xian's voice trembled with excitement. My float moved. Every eye snapped to her. The tip of her slim rod was bobbing wildly against the water's surface. Xiao Xian reeled in. Forgetting everything else, Luo Li sprang up off Xia Yubing's lap and stared hard at the water. Qin Xian gave a sharp yank, and a head-sized wooden chest splashed up beside her. The three women instantly crowded around, throats bobbing. Qin Xian rubbed her hands, a nervous wreck. She wasn't even hoping for food. Just water. One life-saving bottle of fresh water. She pushed the chest over to Luo Li. Quick, quick, little Li, you open it. You've got the luck, I don't dare. Eager to prove her luck was intact, Luo Li reached out and flipped the lid. Congratulations. Wood times 100, stone times 100. Huh, that's it. All three of them stared, dumbfounded. Roasting under a near 40-degree sun for almost an hour, and this? They were dizzy with thirst, and these resources you couldn't eat or drink were no better than trash. If Xia Yubing hadn't stopped her, Luo Li would have kicked the whole pile right back into the sea. I was struggling to hold in my laughter. For a common chest to drop this much was actually decent, roughly half a minute of my idle income. Keeping a straight face, I opened my inventory. Wood, 7,242 stone, 10,953 clay, 18,135. All three resources were still skyrocketing. Wood plus 2, stone plus 3, clay plus 5. A tick almost every blink. There was only one word for it: ridiculous. Looking at their despairing faces, I figured it was time to show a little something. These three top-grade resource babies were about to break. I opened the exchange. A dazzling spread of recommended goods flooded the screen, almost too much to take in. Full made outfit, 10,000 wood. Cabin blueprint, 5 SQM, 2,000 wood. Wheat bread, 100G, 150 wood. Bottled mineral water, 500 milliliters, 120 wood plus 80 stone. Wooden spear, 300 clay. Spiked mace times 3, 2,000 stone. The prices were absurd, the selection even more so. Mineral water, someone was actually selling it, for over 200 in resources. To most players that was a fortune, hardly anyone could afford it. To me, it was pocket change. Wood minus 120 stone minus 80. Bottled mineral water plus 1, 500 milliliters. A bottle of water, beaded with cold condensation, materialized in my inventory. I yanked it out at once, the chill hitting my palm instantly. Crack. In the dead silence of the dune, the sound of the cap twisting open was crisp as a thunderclap. I tipped my head back, and the icy water slid over my cracked lips and poured down my throat. Gulp, gulp. I didn't turn around, but I could feel it. Behind me, all three of them had gone completely still. Three gazes, like wolves in the dark, locked dead onto the bottle in my hand. I turned around and looked, perfectly at ease, at the three girls staring at me with hungry eyes. Three stares glued to the bottle in my hand, throats swallowing on their own. I said nothing, twisted off the cap, tipped it back. Gulp, gulp. The cool water slid down my throat, and the sound drove the three of them nearly out of their minds. I drank slowly, savoring it like some priceless vintage, even letting a drop run down from the corner of my mouth and drip into the sand. The whole bottle, not a drop left. I let out a satisfied little belch and looked at them, all innocence. What are you all staring at? You. Luo Li's chest heaved with fury. Here they were, dying of thirst, and this devil of a junior had just performed a one-man show of guzzling sweet spring water right in front of them. Down to the last drop? Three gorgeous women standing right here. And even if you were a rock, you'd have the decency to share half a bottle. It's not like I'd mind your backwash. Where'd you get that water? She rushed up and threw a soft little fist at my chest. You jerk. Spit it back out for me to drink. The punches were limp, landing on my chest like a massage. I chuckled, planted a hand on her fluffy little head, and with the slightest pressure pinned the squawking little thing in place. Then gave her hair a ruffle and pushed her back. Bought it off the exchange. What? You're thirsty? Obviously. Luoli rolled her eyes. If she could have beaten me, she'd have lunged in and bitten me. My throat's about to catch fire. What do you think? I spread my hands, and the next instant, like a magic trick, another identical bottle appeared, beaded with cold condensation. This time, even the icy Xia Yubing and the demure Qin Xin couldn't help swallowing. The bottle swayed between my fingers, and 3 pairs of eyes swayed with it. That sloshing sound was practically the devil's whisper. I do have water, I said, drawing it out. And seeing you all this thirsty, I'm not such an unreasonable guy. Luo Li's eyes lit up instantly. Really? Of course. I smiled warmly. But we'll need to make a little deal. There it is. Luo Li went on guard at once and stepped back. What deal? We don't have any money right now. I don't want money. My gaze swept across all 3 faces. Stay? Build this place with me. The game dropped 4 of us on one island at the start. There's got to be a reason for it. The talent registered all 3 of them, which meant that as long as they stayed on the island, they'd be generating income for me these whole 6 days. But the talent specifically recognized teammates. Force wouldn't work, and the harder I pushed, the less reliable the output might get. So I just laid the offer on the table. Whether they took it was up to them. Sure enough, their faces shifted. Stay? Stay how long? 6 days? 10 years. Vague terms like that were basically house arrest dressed up. And if their boyfriends found out, all hell would break loose. Besides, in a place like this, who knew what was going on in this junior's head? Qin Xian pressed her cracked lips together. We'll try our own luck first. Luo Li drooped her head too. Yeah, I'll think it over some more. I turned my gaze to Xia Yubing, who'd barely said a word the whole time, but looked the worst off. What about you? I hear things aren't exactly great between you and that boyfriend of yours. Her body stiffened almost imperceptibly. Things with Xiao Shangnan weren't much of a secret around campus. But even so, she had no intention of agreeing to such a strange demand over a few sips of water. She lifted her eyes to meet mine, her voice weak, but her tone steady enough. Thank you, but I'll think it over too. Good. All 3 turned me down. Suit yourselves. The smile dropped from my face. Carry on, then. Without another glance, I turned back to my corner and opened the exchange. There was really no point persuading them. With proud types like this, reasoning gets you nowhere. The harder you push, the harder they push back. I'd laid out the terms. When they came around was their business. And even if they never did within 6 days, it didn't matter. The resource income over those 6 days would pile up into a terrifying number. As for whether they cleared that 90 points the talent needed, I glanced at them, and the corner of my mouth twitched. No worries there. The 3 girls stood frozen. Having watched me finish that water, their throats were dozens of times drier than before. Now it was real torture. As for me, I was in a fine mood, flipping quickly through the exchange. First priority, expand the island. Take care of my own little patch of dirt first. At the very least, put up a roof for some shade. I searched island expansion blueprint directly. Not many listings, prices ranging from a few hundred to 2,000 base resources, settled in all sorts of currencies. Wood, stone, clay, you name it. The game had only just opened, and everyone's listed prices were a mess. Nobody knew the going rate, so they all marked it up as high as they could. Unfortunately, most sellers only took wood, which happened to be my scarcest resource. I patiently worked from cheapest to priciest, and just as I was running out of patience, I hit the most expensive one on the market. Island Expansion Blueprint, 10 SQM, price, 3,000 clay seller. Wu Yushan, 10 square meters. I added him as a friend and fired off a message. Summer, I'll take it for 2,000. Wu Yushan, boss, 1 square meter goes for over 1,000 right now. This is a 10 square meter blueprint. So what if it's 10? Prices were total chaos right now, no benchmark to speak of. Even if my resources fell out of the sky, I couldn't go burning through them like that. Summer, 2,000. If you'll sell, pull the listing and we'll trade privately. He went quiet for a good while. Wu Yushan, UVE got a lot of clay? Trade me some and the blueprints yours da. Well, now his attitude changed fast. Trading resources actually worked for me. My wood output was low, and having some hard currency on hand would make later purchases easier. Summer, how much? Wu Yushan, not much, 1,001 to 1. Summer, sure do. Wu Yushan, boss, if you've got extra clay, come trade with me anytime. Summer, will do dot. A trade request popped up fast. He put up the blueprint plus 1,000 wood. I put up 3,000 clay. Trade successful. A heartbeat later, a quaint blueprint glowing faintly amber appeared in my pack. I pulled it out and ran a thumb over it. It felt like some kind of tough leather, intricate patterns drawn across it, giving off a weighty, ancient air. Time to start expanding. 10 square meters. Not huge, but out here on this endless ocean, it was practically a brand new continent conjured from thin air. I checked the expansion cost first. 10 SQM expansion. Blueprint costs 2,000 wood, 5,000 stone, 6,000 clay. Island area cap plus 10 SQM. Note, expansion location and shape are customizable. Ugh, 10 square meters, over 10,000 resources. Is it a little too early for this? Then again, most people were heads down hoarding resources right now. Probably nobody else would be in such a rush to expand by such a big chunk just a few hours into launch. The normal play was to expand 1 square meter at a time, lower cost, safer. But I didn't have that worry. My resources were climbing every second. Expand early, enjoy early. Expand. The words were barely out when the island lurched beneath me, like a dragon turning over in the earth. The 3 girls, caught off guard, shrieked and flopped down onto the scorching sand, barely steadying themselves. Then, as they watched in horror, the blue sea ahead began to churn and boil. Rumble. A brand new square of land burst up out of the water. Damp, sandy soil, heavy with the smell of brine and mud, steaming up faint white wisps under the blazing sun. It settled flush against the under 4 square meter sandbar beneath my feet, fusing seamlessly into one. Only then did that heart-stopping tremor finally stop. Before they'd even recovered from the impossible sight, a string of cold system announcements detonated in their minds. Congratulations to player Summer, the first in the Jiangxing district to expand an island to 10 square meters. Reward, epic chest ×1, basic water purifier ×1, climate controller blueprint ×1. The announcement didn't just blue screen the 3 of them. It blew up the district channel entirely. Only a few hours in and 10 square meters. This guy's gotta be cheating. Where'd he get the resources to expand 10 square meters? I haven't even let myself swallow my own spit, and you're telling me someone expanded by 10. A water purifier. I want one too. Why does he get rewards that good? Should be gone for that reward on our island too. Purifier and a climate controller. Boss, your island need a houseboy. I skimmed the rapidly scrolling feed, a bold plan starting to take shape in my head. But not yet. The timing wasn't right. I closed the channel and turned my eyes back to the 3 dumbstruck faces in front of me. The 3 campus queens who'd been so high and mighty minutes ago were now flopped on the sand, mouths slightly open, not even noticing the sand on their chins. Ladies, I'll leave this old patch to you to fish your chests in peace. I tossed off the line and stepped onto the brand new land. The feel of it underfoot was nothing like the scalding sand. But expansion alone wasn't enough of a shock. I needed to throw on another log. I stroked my chin, opened the exchange at a leisurely pace, and quickly locked onto a target I liked. Single cabin blueprint, 5 SQM, price, 500 planks seller, Liu Edging. 500 planks, pocket change for me now. I didn't even blink, just confirmed the purchase. A blueprint glowing dark red dropped into my hand from thin air. The 3 women saw yet another blueprint appear in my hands and instinctively held their breath. Here comes the big one. A heartbeat later, hundreds of thick planks materialized above the new island without warning. Like a flock of living things, they shuttled, wove, and locked together through the air. Clack, clack, clack. The crisp sound of mortise and tenon snapping into place rang out endlessly. In mere minutes, an exquisite cabin assembled itself midair and drifted down, smelling pleasantly of pine, to settle right in the center of the new island. Congratulations to player Summer, the first in the Jiangxing district to complete a structure. Reward, single bed blueprint, single sofa, finished. Bedding set, finished. The cabin wasn't big, but the security and comfort of it left the three of them parched with longing. Sheen Xian climbed up out of the sand, brushing herself off, mind racing. Mineral water, island expansion, and now this cabin. Where on earth was he getting all these resources? It made no sense. They'd fished under the sun for nearly 2 hours, practically peeling a layer of skin, and scraped together a few hundred. His island expansion cost alone was an astronomical figure. Hey, where are you getting all those resources? Luo Li was staring hard at the cabin too, her expression complicated. Thinking back to that world-ending scene when he awakened, it had to be some monstrous talent. She couldn't help pressing on. Yeah, this is insane. How do you already have a house? I leaned against the cabin doorframe, arms crossed, and gave a mysterious little smile. The wind blew it in. Luo Li tilted up her chin. Then how about blowing some my way? It's just one question. Was that so hard? Sheen Xian quickly tugged her sleeve, signaling her to drop it. Beside them, the even weaker Xia Yubing shook her head at her too, worry in her eyes. They all knew picking a fight with me right now was a bad move. The most dire part, whether the three of them lived to see tomorrow, might genuinely come down to my mood. Feeling her friend's tug, Luo Li huffed, unwilling, but let it go in the end. She turned and trudged back to her under 1 square meter patch, sat down, and kept fishing. Except now that she'd seen the cabin, she couldn't hold the rod steady to save her life. I couldn't be bothered to keep sparring with them, and the sun really was brutal, so I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The instant I was in, a cool pine scent washed over me, shutting out all the heat and glare. The hot, damp sea breeze threaded in through the cracks and brushed my skin, oddly cool and pleasant. A 5 square meter room was a bit tight for the single bed, but that bonus single sofa fit just right. I set it by the window, dropped into it, and let out a satisfied sigh at the softness. From this angle, I could see right through the window to those 3 figures suffering out in the blazing sun. Which was fine. I could keep an eye on them. If these pampered queens actually went down from heatstroke or dehydration, my wood, stone, and clay output would go with them. Let them fish, let them sweat, let them come around in their own time. But I couldn't let anything happen to them yet. As the heat drained out of me, I finally pulled that epic chest out of my pack, satisfied, and set it on the floor. Every chest came from fishing, but the odds were appallingly low. With a basic rod like mine, even hooking a bronze chest was cause to burn incense and thanks. And this epic chest, deep crimson all over, edged with dark gold metal banding, carved with intricate ancient patterns. Just looking at it radiated the weight of accumulated ages. I rubbed my hands, gripped the lid, and flung it open. Congratulations to Players Summer. You have obtained an epic Voyage Beast. Bisui. The Voyage Beast leaderboard is now open. Players, work hard to raise your Beast's level. The instant the announcement sounded, the 3 sun-wilted queens turned their eyes toward the cabin in unison. What's he cooked up now? Sheen Xian gave a bitter smile. This junior was getting a little too absurd. How many system announcements had it been in this short span? He wasn't tired, but I'm tired just listening. Inside the cabin, a question mark popped up in my head. Voyage Beast? I quickly opened my pack and found a brand new slot, in which a shimmering, iridescent card lay quietly. Voyage Beast, Bisui, Epic. A Voyage Beast's level and rarity directly determine the quality of the vessel it manifests. Epic Voyage Beast minimum daily feeding, 5,000 base resources. Manifest? Vessel? My heart clenched, then drowned in glee. So as long as I kept this little thing fed, I could sail the open sea whenever I wanted? I thought even further ahead. With a boat, I could go out and actively seek out those resource goddesses who cleared the rating bar. By then, just how monstrous would my output be? As for the 5,000 resource daily feed, that was nothing to me. Stone alone reliably pulled over 10,000 an hour. 5,000 was half an hour's worth. I took the card out. It felt warm to the touch, almost alive. The instant I drew it, a blinding bolt of pink lightning struck the floor in front of me without warning. As the light faded, a soft, squishy little pink octopus appeared before me. It was tiny, palm-sized, and utterly feeble. Chew! A mosquito-thin little cry. The slender tentacles beneath it trembled, barely able to hold up that round little head. I looked at the little thing, amused, kind of adorable, actually, and gently scooped it into my palm. Cold, slippery, with the exact feel of fine jelly. The little suckers on its tentacles clung softly to my hand as it strained to lift its head, a pair of round, glossy eyes gazing up at me, full of dependence. Bisui female, LV1 strength 1 agility 1 stamina 1 feeding. 0/100. Heh, a little girl. Those stats of all ones were pretty pathetic. Whatever, I had resources to spare. Just feed it. I poked its squishy head. Choo-choo, its whole body wobbled, like a blob of pink jelly about to melt. I glanced at my resources. Wood, 4,322 stone. 6,453 clay. 9,585. Most of it was clay. Let's start with 100 and test the waters. At my thought, a faint thread of white light surfaced from my palm and flowed slowly into its body. No earth-shaking spectacle. It just hummed contentedly, opened its little mouth, and let out a dainty burp. Bisui LV2 feeding. 0/200ths free stat point. 1. Leveled up, sure enough, with a stat point to boot. A voyage beast, speed matters most. I put the point into agility. Here, move around and let me see. It seemed a little embarrassed, fidgeting before it hopped off my palm onto the floor, and then started inching along with a grunt. Judging by the I'm already at full speed look on its little face, it was genuinely giving it everything. But that pace was no different from a snail on a stroll. Its clumsiness made me laugh. Only level 2. Weak was to be expected. Too lazy to test it bit by bit, I just went all in. Straight to level 10. Clay minus 4,400 level up. Current, LV 10. Free stat points plus 8. Racial skill awakened. Abyssal dread. This time the white light pouring from my palm was thick as milk, wrapping its whole little body, lasting a dozen seconds before dispersing. The once palm-sized octopus had now swelled to the size of a basketball. Rounder, bouncier, somehow even cuter than before. Burp. It let out another satisfied belch, much louder this time. I crouched down and gave its bouncy head a curious squeeze. Abyssal dread, a terrifying bloodline from the deep, causes all targets of a lower level than Bisui to feel dread rising from the depths of their souls. The description sounded fierce. But looking at this little thing that did nothing but burp and act cute, I really couldn't connect it to terrifying creature of the abyss. I split the 8 points into 5 agility and 3 stamina. Try again. This time, with agility at 7, Bisui shot off, fast as the wind, leaving a streak of pink afterimage across the floor. My eyes nearly couldn't keep up. Now we're talking. Starting to look like an epic voyage beast. I was still puzzled, though. Even at level 10, it was only basketball-sized. No way it looked capable of carrying anyone out to sea. The thought had barely formed. Choo-choo, Bisui seemed to read my mind. Its round little body spun rapidly in place, kicking up a tiny whirlwind. A flash of pink light. A little fishing boat, pink from end to end, appeared before me. A pair of equally pink oars were thoughtfully mounted on either gunwale, and there was even a cute octopus motif painted on the bow. Manifested vessel. Pink dinghy, shoddy, speed, 3 knots trait, abyssal dread. My eye twitched. Cute, sure, very cute. But this little wreck could actually go out to sea? Thousands of resources eaten, and only 3 knots? Isn't that a bit much? One wave, and the thing capsizes. I'm not gambling my life on it. Still too low level. Upgrade costs were climbing fast now. The next level over 1,000 resources, so I decided to set it aside. My output was high, but I couldn't keep blowing it like this. I had other things to spend on. All right, change back and go play. Pink light flashed again, and Bisui, back in octopus form, was noticeably livelier. It hopped up onto the windowsill and peered curiously at those 3 figures grinding away outside. I left it alone and pulled up the Voyage Beast leaderboard. My name sat alone at the very top, hanging there in solitary glory. To sail, I need at least until afternoon. Bank a batch of resources, level Bisui up some more, and conjure a boat that actually looked seaworthy. I took the basic water purifier out of my pack. Basic water purifier. Output 500 milliliters / 10 minutes. A bottle every 10 minutes. At this juncture, an absolute game breaker. On the exchange, a single bottle of water was being scalped up toward 200 or 300 wood, and even then there was none to be had. I set it up in the corner of the cabin. The purifier stood about half a person tall, with a clear cylindrical tank on top. The instant I finished installing it, a system prompt suddenly rang out in my mind. SSS tier talent, save the goddess, triggered. Basic water purifier output increased 5 times. Current, 2,500 milliliters / 10 minutes. Before I could even react, the spout suddenly blasted out a powerful jet of water, like a busted fire hydrant, and ice-cold clear water drenched me in an instant. The hell? I scrambled over and clapped a hand over the spout, feeling that enormous water pressure. This wasn't a purifier, it was a bottomless spring. Now I really could have anything I wanted. I pulled up the exchange and quickly found my target, a storage barrel. 200 wood, snapped up instantly. Great little thing, too. Came with a lid and a hose, perfect for hooking onto the purifier's spout. I strode over to the purifier and connected the hose. Splash, splash. Clear, fresh water surged through the tube into the barrel. The sound wasn't loud, but it was sweeter than any music, every note drumming against my excited nerves. This was it. What do people want most right now? Resources? Not at all. The scarcest thing is fresh water. The exchange had only single-digit bottles listed, and even if you'd banked enough resources from chests, you basically couldn't buy any. This wasn't a purifier. It was the lifeline of half the server. The 20-liter barrel would take over an hour to fill. No rush. I sank comfortably into the sofa and pulled out the last of my system rewards, the one I'd been looking forward to most. Climate Controller Blueprint. Requires electronic components times 5, iron parts times 5, plastic times 10. I scanned the material list, and my brow furrowed. The materials weren't exotic, but I didn't have a single one. I opened the exchange. Someone was selling iron parts, but the 2,000 plank price tag was highway robbery. As for electronic components and plastic, not a trace. I scratched my head, irritated. Being in the cabin beat being outside, but only relatively. It was 31, 32 degrees in here, like a lukewarm steamer. Just moving around a little to level up Bisui had sweat rolling down my temples, leaving me sticky and miserable all over. If I could just get the climate controller built. Just the thought sent a wave of coolness through me. If I wanted to live in comfort, step 1 had to be air conditioning. I took a deep breath and opened the noisy district channel. Summer, buying electronic components, iron parts, plastic, paying in water. DM me if you've got stock. After my name had flashed across a few district announcements, the whole server already knew it. The moment I posted, everyone, stock or no stock, swarmed in just to get on my radar. Boss Summer. The real Boss Summer. I've got nothing. I just want to bask in your glow. Boss is trading water for materials now, and I haven't seen a single drop of clean water. My lips are all cracked. Boss, need any hands? Hauling, odd jobs, errands, whatever. Just a sip of water a day, and I'm in. Boss, look at me. I'm a streamer. I can rally people and pump up your hype. You ever need help, just call. My temple throbbed. Watching that wall of useless spam, I felt less like I was surviving and more like I'd been swarmed by street peddlers shoving wares at me. Expecting to trade rare materials out of this crowd was a pipe dream. I closed the channel and turned to the livestream function. Except, asking someone with a bit of social anxiety like me to go live was genuinely too much. Which reminded me of Luo Li, still out there fishing for chests. The reason I recognized her was that she'd been an online VTuber with several 100,000 followers. Having her run an acquisition stream would work far better. Too bad I couldn't order her around yet, or I wouldn't have to step up myself. Wu Yushan. Boss, I've got electronic components. Oh, my interest perked up at once. Wu Yushan, boss. How many do you want? The eagerness practically dripped off every line. Summer, 5. You've got them. Wu Yushan. Yes, bro, I do. Wu Yushan. I want to be friends, so here's a friend price. 1 component for 1 bottle of water, 2.5 liters total. Deal. A bottle each? To me, that price was basically free. I glanced at the water banked in the barrel. 2.6/20 L. Plenty. Summer. Sure do. I agreed first, to see what he was up to. A trade window popped up. I confirmed carefully, 5 genuine electronic components, then put up the storage barrel. The instant the trade closed, my whole body relaxed. 3 materials, 1 down. Wu Yushan. Boss, got the water? Thank you so much. I see you still need electronic components and plastic. Want to make another deal? That message made my eyebrow rise. This guy, how did he have everything? Electronic components, iron parts, plastic? None of that drops reliably from a common chest. He wasn't like the parched nobodies in the channel. He came off more like a merchant with special connections. Summer, what kind of deal? Wu Yushan, not gonna lie, all 4 of us have decent talents, and we can get you the materials you need. But you'd have to trust us to. Wu Yushan, one of my teammates has the talent material decomposition. It breaks finished products back down into raw materials. You just supply the products, we do the breakdown, and we take a small labor fee. How's that? Decomposition? My eyes lit up instantly. If that talent was real, it was a godsend. Lots of people were pulling finished goods now, while raw materials were the scarce thing. If I could link up with this crew, wouldn't I have any material I wanted from then on? Summer, sounds good. What's the fee? He'd clearly thought it through, replying instantly. Wu Yushan, 3 materials for 500 milliliters of water as the labor fee. How's that? Cheap. I couldn't be bothered to haggle. I still needed 5 iron parts and 10 plastic, 15 total, 5 bottles of water, basically. Summer, done. What products do you need? Wu Yushan, knew you were a man who does big things. For iron parts, any ironware works. Axes, iron pots, whatever. For plastic, any plastic product breaks down fine. I crossed my legs and, while chatting with him, opened the exchange. Plenty of ironware, generally 200 resources apiece. Plastic goods even cheaper, plastic baskets and stools going for a few dozen each. I swept it up, 5 of the cheapest iron axes plus 10 junk plastic baskets, under 1,500 resources total. Once another 2.5 liters had banked in the barrel, I leisurely sent a message. Summer, send me your coordinates. Wu Yushan got it immediately. I was worried they'd take the goods and vanish. But he'd sought me out himself, angling to get in good with the server's #1. So what trick would he dare pull? The 3 materials for 1 bottle price was something he'd settled with his 3 teammates too. More than earning water off this talent, what they really wanted was to partner with me. After all, decomposition wasn't their only talent. Wu Yushan sent his coordinates without hesitation. I glanced at them, about 30 nautical miles, not far. And since I had a way out to sea, I wasn't worried about him welching. Wu Yushan, don't worry, boss. Give it about half an hour, and I'll hit you up the second it's done. I closed the chat, leaned back into the sofa, and let out a long breath. 3 materials, settled just like that. I was in a great mood. Just as I was about to browse the exchange for a cheap expansion blueprint to snipe. Outside the cabin, Luo Li let out a short, startled shriek. Oh my god, what is this thing? I made a lap around the cabin and didn't see Bisui anywhere. Figuring the little thing had slipped out to gawk at the commotion, I got up and pushed the door open. Scorching air and blinding sun slammed into me. I squinted on reflex. Off in the distance, Luo Li was holding up a soft, squishy little pink thing in front of her, beaming, and there was my runaway, Bisui. It had probably startled her when it first popped up, like some mutant sea beast had crawled ashore. But once she realized this bouncy little thing was harmless, cute to the point of being criminal, those big, watery eyes had gone straight for her soft spot, and even the irritation from the blazing sun had melted off her. Oh my god, how can you be this adorable? Luo Li cradled Bisui to her chest and gently nuzzled its cool little head with her cheek. Xiao Xian, look at it. Qin Xian took one look at the clingy little thing in Luo Li's arms and understood. This had to be the voyage beast Xiaoshang just pulled. She wasn't as expressive as Luo Li, but curiosity glinted in her eyes too, and she couldn't help poking Bishui's jelly-like head with a finger. It is cute. Even as she said it, her gaze drifted on reflex toward the cabin, right into mine, where I'd been leaning against the doorframe at some point, watching them with a half-smile. Her heart lurched, and the finger poking Bisui snapped back like she'd been shocked. She hid it behind her back, pinched Luo Li's waist on the side, and frantically signaled with her eyes. Luo Li, happily cuddling away, only looked up groggily at the pinch and followed her gaze to me. She wasn't the least bit nervous. Her eyes lit up. Hey, is this cutie yours? What's its name? It's so adorable. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I called out lazily toward my feet. Little guy, come back. Bisui, which had been nestled comfortably in Luo Li's arms, wriggled free at once like it had heard an imperial decree, bounced across the sand back to my feet, and tipped its head up with two choo-choo cries. I bent down and scooped it up. It was only as I looked up that I saw the state the three of them were really in, worse than I'd thought. All three faces were sunburned red, lips cracked and peeling, clothes soaked through with sweat and clinging to them. Even Xia Yubing, always so straight-backed, looked unsteady on her feet now. Much more of this sun, and someone really would go down from heat stroke. I didn't overthink it. I turned back inside, filled 3 bottles from the barrel, and went over to press one into each of their hands. Drink. All 3 froze, cupping the icy bottles, none of them daring to open one right away, like they were afraid it was some trap. Relax, this one's on the house, I said with a shrug. If you actually keel over from thirst on my island, my output goes down with you. I'm not running a money-losing operation. Skeptical, Luo Li twisted off the cap and took one sip. Her eyes went red instantly, and she tipped her head back and chugged most of the bottle before she could bear to stop. Qin Xian and Xia Yubing started drinking too, looking so much like survivors pulled back from the brink that even I felt a twinge. Once they'd caught their breath, I spoke up, unhurried. There's plenty of water. The purifier's in my place, a full barrel every 10 minutes. I paused. Want a shower, a clean change of clothes? I've got that too. Those words landed, and 3 pairs of eyes lit up in unison. Stewing under the sun for half a day, those sticky, salty clothes had been making their skin crawl like it was covered in ants. But Luo Li took a wary half-step back, blocking Bishui's little head as it tried to burrow into her arms again. Is this that condition of yours again? Sort of, but let me put it more clearly. I leaned back against the doorframe. The game dropped the 4 of us on one island at the start. There's got to be a reason. My talent, your 3 talents. Put together, we can all profit off each other. That much I can guarantee, and you'll feel it for yourselves soon enough. I'm not asking you to sell yourselves, and I'm not asking you to stay forever. I looked at them. What I'm proposing is an alliance. Resources, water, a house, safety. I've got all that covered. You pitch in, help build the place up. In 6 days, the sea freezes and the islands connect. When that happens, anyone who wants to leave, I won't stop. And if you think the terms are unfair, we can talk. By the time I'd finished, the guard on their faces had visibly loosened. This was a whole different thing from house arrest. Qin Xian pressed her cracked lips together, calculating fast behind her eyes. She knew better than anyone. The trickle of chest income in their hands right now barely kept them alive, while the guy across from her was the server's #1, who'd expanded his island, built a house, and raised an epic voyage beast within hours of launch. Allying with someone like that gave far better odds of survival than going it alone. It was just, she glanced reflexively at Xia Yubing. Each of them still had ties they couldn't let go of, boyfriends off the island, complicated situations, and none of them could read how much of this junior's offer was sincere. Xia Yubing was silent a long moment before she spoke softly, her voice weak but steady enough. Your talent, what exactly is it? A sharp question. An alliance was fine, but she wanted to know first just what kind of hand she'd be dealing with. I smiled, in no rush to lay it all out. The day you nod, I'll tell you. For now, I scooped up Bisui and turned to head back inside, tossing one line over my shoulder as I reached the door. Once you've made up your minds, come knock anytime. The water and the shower, I'll keep them ready for you. Thud, the door shut, clean and decisive, leaving the 3 of them standing on the scorching sand, looking at one another. The half-finished bottle in each hand was still ice cold. Luo Li stamped her foot in frustration. She hated this miserable place. Here, the pedigree, the popularity, the whole aura she'd been so proud of all counted for nothing. And yet, also here, for the first time, she had to weigh a deal on her own merits, instead of having everything served up to her. She plopped down onto the sand, hugged her knees, and let out a glum sigh. I'll reach out to Hu Ming first. There was reluctance in her voice, and a sliver of give too. If there's really nothing he can do on his end, then I'll ally up. It's not like that's anything to be ashamed of. Luo Li bit her cracked lip and, with trembling fingers, opened the district channel. Messages tore past like a locust swarm, too fast to read. Anyone got water? Please, I'll trade all my wood for one bottle. Help. I'm dying of thirst. There's nothing here but sand. Any big shots nearby? Take me in. I'll do anything. Wails, curses, begging. The whole channel was a landfill of misery. What good did screaming for help in the district channel do? Did she really expect some good Samaritan to hand out free water? Luo Li didn't bother reading another line. She took a deep breath, pushed past the burning ache in her throat, and quickly typed out a line. Right now, her only hope was Hu Ming. Luo Li-chan, Hu Ming, contact me the second you see this. The message had barely sent before a flood of new spam bumped it down. Luo Li's heart sank. Would he even see it? What if he missed it? While she was spiraling, a friend request chime rang out abruptly. Applicant ID, pry the hatch open. The tension in her wound-up nerves eased a little. It was Hu Ming. All right. Back when they used to play Battle Royale, that was his cringy edgelord handle. The moment she accepted, his messages came battering in, one after another, like he was afraid she'd bolt. Pry the hatch open, baby. You finally answered. I've been spamming the district channel calling you for over an hour. Pry the hatch open. How are you hurt? Who are you with? That interrogation tone again. Any other time, Luo Li would have fired back a get lost. But right now, she didn't have the standing for it. Luo Li-chan, bad. Really bad. I'm with Xia Yubing and Qin Xin, and a junior Gaida. The other end went quiet for a solid 10+ seconds. Luo Li could practically picture the look on his face. Pry the hatch open, what? There's a guy? Right after, a voice call request popped up. Luo Li hung up without hesitation. Get real. Her throat was about to catch fire. She had no energy to argue with him. Pry the hatch open. Holy crap, holy crap. All three of JCU's famous campus beauties, and you've got the whole set. Pry the hatch open. No wait, the four of you got dropped on one island. On another little island, Hu Ming's eyes went red with envy. Three of the most famous beauties in the whole school, stuck on one island with some junior who'd come out of nowhere. Why did luck like that never land on him? He slammed a furious fist into the sand, the scorching grains grinding against his knuckles. He forced down a bellyful of jealousy and kept probing. Careful. Pry the hatch open. What's the junior's name? Do I know him? Is he reliable? Luo Li's patience was running on empty. Reliable? All she cared about right now was whether she'd make it to tomorrow. Luo Li-chan, you that bored? Jealous? Can't you check the leaderboards yourself? Building, expansion, voyage beast. He's number one on all of them. This time the silence ran even longer. A full minute before he squeezed out a single line. Pry the hatch open. Is it summer? He didn't even need to check the boards to guess who it was. That ID had rung out in the district announcements 3 times. Who didn't know it now? Hu Ming felt his heart seized in an invisible fist, barely able to breathe. What was summer? First to expand, first to build. The one who'd opened the Voyage Beast leaderboard single-handedly. In a place like this, power was everything. And him? He didn't even have the most basic Voyage Beast. Crossing the sea to come get Luo Li was a pure fantasy. His only hope was the sea freezing over in 6 days. But 6 days, in front of a man holding an ocean of resources, could Luo Li really grit her teeth and hold out for 6 full days? Forget Luo Li. In her shoes, he'd probably have caved long ago. On the scorching sand, Luo Li was burning with impatience. Falls apart at the critical moment, every time. She didn't want to dance around it anymore, and laid down her final demand. Luo Li-chan, do you have water? Extra water. I'm dying of thirst. That message blanked Hu Ming's mind in an instant. The thing he'd feared most had come, after all. Water? He didn't have a drop. He and his 3 teammates had fished this whole time and turned up nothing but base resources. Not even a bottle cap. But he didn't dare just reply no to Luo Li. He was scared. Scared that the second he said no, she'd turn and run straight into the arms of that man called Summer. Pry the hatch open. I really don't have water right now, but baby, don't worry. The second I get some, I'll send it to you first. Pry the hatch open. I'd rather go thirsty myself and give it to you first. You have to believe me. Pry the hatch open. My talent's A-tier, super strong. Once the sea freezes, I'll come get you. Just wait for me. Pry the hatch open. Give me a few more hours. I swear I can get water. Pry the hatch open. Baby, say something. You're scaring me. Looking at the string of messages, Luo Li didn't even have the energy to reply. She just closed the chat. Wait 6 days for you. Wait for you to come collect my corpse? Those hollow promises on the screen made her feel like one giant joke. The last thread of hope evaporated like mist under the blazing sun. The instant she shut the screen off, a violent wave of dizziness hit. The world began to spin and warp, a sharp ringing in her ears. NGH. She groaned and braced herself against the scalding sand just in time to keep from collapsing. Honestly, she didn't really blame Hu Ming. Someone like Xia Shang was the exception. Most people were just like her, scraping for survival on the edge of death. Hu Ming had teammates too. He was only human. He needed water too. What right did she have to expect him to save her? It was just, that disappointment was real, painfully real. Why had she agreed to date Hu Ming in the first place? Just because he was the basketball team's power forward, all hard muscle. The kind of guy who made you feel safe standing next to him, handy for fending off the endless line of suitors. And now? That boyfriend who'd once made her feel so secure had become a useless man in this cruel world, good for nothing but painting her a pie in the sky she'd never get to eat. The dizziness came in waves, each stronger than the last. She could feel it. She was right at the edge of heat stroke. Tough it out any longer, and she really would die. She turned her head with effort toward Qin Xin and Xia Yubing. The two of them were watching her too, eyes still holding one last sliver of hope. If she could just get one bottle, split between them in a few sips, maybe they could hold out another half day. But all they saw was Luo Li's face, paler than a corpse's. Luo Li sniffed her parched nose. Next to staying alive, that bit of campus queen pride wasn't worth a thing. I'll go talk to him. She paused, then added, more like she was convincing herself. If I can get some water, I'll share it with you too. Bracing her knees, she dragged herself up with everything she had and, under their complicated gazes, inched step by step toward the little cabin so close at hand. Inside, I heard the knock. Knock, knock, knock. Light, but stubborn. I answered lazily. It's unlocked, come in. The instant the door pulled open, the cool air I'd banked up all afternoon went whooshing out. Luo Li, standing in the doorway, froze stiff. The chill must have hit her like a freight train. Every pore on her body seemed to clench at once, and she shivered involuntarily, the sticky sweat on her neck drying in the blink of an eye. She stared at me, then at the climate controller humming behind me, with a look like she'd seen a ghost. She'd remembered, I figured, in those earlier district announcements, I'd gotten a climate controller blueprint. She just hadn't expected me to have built it this fast, which meant that while everyone out there was being roasted half to death by 40-degree heat, I'd been holed up in air conditioning the whole time. Ah, so good. A satisfied sigh slipped out of her cracked throat before she could stop it. She even spread her arms on instinct, drinking in that life-saving cool air, looking utterly blissed out. I lounged on the sofa with Bisui, watching the whole thing unfold, feeling thoroughly pleased. Good thing Wu Yushan moved fast and broke down the materials in time, getting the climate controller assembled before she walked in. Otherwise, this place would still be a steamer right now, and this deal wouldn't have been nearly so easy to close. A gap like this, you can describe it 100 times, and it won't match her feeling it for herself for 1 second. I jerked my chin at her. It's brutal out there. Come in and talk. Luo Li snapped back to herself with a start, lowered her arms, and stood in the doorway looking a little lost, her cheeks heating against her will. She glanced back. Just a dozen steps away, the air blurred and rippled with heat, and she could barely make out Qin Xion's and Xia Yubing's faces anymore. Over there was like another world. In the time it took to glance back, the cool air at the doorway got shoved out by the heat wave, and that familiar scorch wrapped around her back again. 1 second was all it took. She couldn't bear it anymore. Luo Li suddenly found herself rather pathetic. For the sake of that bit of pitiful pride, she'd roasted out there half the day, and in the end, didn't she still have to walk through this door and sit down to talk terms with me? From her parched dry throat, she forced out a single word. Fine. With that, she stepped into the cabin and, reaching back, gently pulled the door that separated two worlds shut behind her. The heat wave outside was locked out. Click. The door shut, and that thin sheet of wood sealed off two worlds. Outside was a hell where even breathing felt like swallowing knives. Inside was a sanctuary cool enough to make you sigh. Luo Li greedily breathed in the icy air, and the burning in her lungs finally subsided. She stood awkwardly by the door, not knowing where to put her hands or feet. I lounged against the sofa, in no rush to speak, and gave her a slow once-over, badly sunburned, but still holding up. Probably because I'd stared a beat too long, her face flushed. She clenched her fists and, like she'd made some momentous decision, suddenly lifted her head to meet my eyes. I'm willing to stay. Then she dropped her head again, her voice thin as a mosquito's. Just tell me what you want me to do. Her tone was as tragic as someone walking to the gallows. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, that decisive. I sat up a bit, elbows on my knees, looking at her. Well, since you've gone that far, come over here first. The color drained from her face. I was a little puzzled. I just told her to come over. Was that so much? That expression, like I was about to drag her off to be drowned at sea. Can I shower first? She lifted her head, eyes wide and pleading. I'm covered in sweat. I'm so dirty. What's the rush? Come here first. She bit her lip and shuffled toward me in tiny steps, each one like she was treading on red-hot coals. The longer I watched, the more off it seemed. The girl was deathly pale, her eyes rimmed red, looking for all the world like a prisoner marched to execution. Was it really that serious? She finally inched up in front of me, head bowed nearly into her chest, shoulders trembling faintly. What are you standing there for? I held out my hand. Hand. She jolted all over and looked at me, bewildered, with an expression complex enough to fill a dissertation. Too lazy to guess what she was thinking, I just said, Put your hands out, close your eyes. Her lashes trembled hard, and 2 tears actually rolled down. Me? What earth-shattering scene had she conjured up in her head? She took a deep breath, like she'd resigned herself to fate, slowly closed her eyes, held out both hands, even braced her neck rigid. The whole do-your-worst posture. Fine. I fished out the thing I'd just bought from my pack and set it gently into her open palms. Soft. Eyes shut. She waited. 1 second, 2, 5, and seeing me make no move, her brow knit tighter and tighter, her expression practically urging, why isn't it coming yet? I really couldn't hold it in and laughed out loud. Hey. She flinched. Open your eyes and look at what's in your hands, would you? Skeptical, Luo Li opened her eyes and looked down. What she cradled in her palms wasn't some monster from her nightmares. It was a neatly folded, clean swimsuit. She froze in place. A few seconds later, she snapped her head up to glare at me, and there I was, lounging in the exact same pose, not having lifted a single finger. So, this whole time, all I'd wanted was to hand her a change of clothes. So her closing her eyes, holding out her hands, bracing her neck, tearing up to face death, was all a one-woman show she'd put on herself? Blood rushed straight to the top of her head, her face hot enough to fry an egg. Aya! She let out a short shriek and slapped at her own cheeks like mad, wishing she could vanish on the spot. I was laughing so hard my shoulders shook. I gotta say, that look on your face just now, did you take me for some kind of monstrous villain? It's your fault. She blew up, snatching the swimsuit and smacking it against my leg. You and your snide tone. Come here. Close your eyes. Who knows what you were going to do? I was misled. After yelling, like she was afraid I'd take it back, she scrambled to grab the swimsuit and clutched it tight to her chest. She snuck a glance down at it and pursed her lips. The style was actually pretty much her taste. Ugh, even picks a swimsuit with this kind of precision. She shot me a sidelong glower, but her momentum had fizzled and her voice dropped. So, is there water? I'm thirsty and I want a shower. I said nothing and tipped my chin toward the corner of the room. She followed my gaze, and her pupils shrank. 4 wooden barrels stood neatly in the corner, 3 with the lids off, brimming with clear water. The last one was hooked to the humming purifier, water splashing steadily into it. 3 full barrels of water. In a world where a single mouthful of clean water was worth a fortune, here were 3 whole barrels of it. Her throat bobbed involuntarily, some primal urge pushing her to rush over and plunge her head straight into a barrel. But the moment she stepped forward, I caught her by the wrist. She turned back into my smiling eyes. That water's for showering, I said leisurely. If you want a drink. My other hand gave a flick in the air, and like a magic trick, a bottle of iced lemon tea, beaded with cold condensation, hissing out chilled vapor, appeared from nowhere. Without even glancing at it, I tossed it to her. This one hits better. Iced lemon tea. Chilled, no less. Luo Li fumbled to catch it, the cold shooting up from her fingertips and blue-screening her brain again. She stared at the drink in disbelief, then snapped her head up to look at me, her voice gone shrill. Where did this even come from? I leaned back into the sofa, unhurried. You want the answer, or you want a drink? Pick one. Like that's a choice? I could practically see the line running through her head. How could the answer possibly matter more than my thirst? Luo Li twisted off the cap, the crisp pop like heavenly music. The instant that familiar sweet tart lemon scent rushed up her nose, she couldn't hold back. She tipped her head and chugged 2 big gulps straight from the bottle. The cold liquid slid down her burning throat like a spring of ice, dousing the fire inside her. So good she nearly cried out. She set the bottle down, let out a long breath, came fully back to life, and muttered with a sulky pout. Won't tell me. Fine, stingy. After grumbling, she snuck a peek at me and seemed to realize I wasn't the least bit annoyed by her little attitude. There was even a smile at the corner of my mouth. She quietly relaxed. Looks like I don't have to keep playing the good little girl in front of him. Otherwise, it'd drive me insane. The worry gone, she just downed the remaining half bottle in one go. Burp. A satisfied little water belch escaped before she could stop it. She flushed and quickly covered her mouth. The swing from near dehydration to a whole iced drink down the hatch left her knees weak, nearly buckling. Good as it felt, though, that brush with death sensation was one she never wanted to taste again in her life. Not thirsty anymore? I asked. And no, not thirsty. Good. I tipped my chin toward the barrels in the corner. If you want a shower, there's plenty of water over there. Luo Li flushed and fidgeted for a while before squeezing out. So, could you step outside first? I gave an not even lifting my eyelids. Want me to scrub your back? Who asked you to scrub my back? She blew up instantly, stamping her foot. I'm telling you to get out. I sat up off the sofa, stretched, and put on an innocent face. Next time say what you mean, upperclassmen. People get the wrong idea so easily. She opened her mouth, too furious to get out a single word, and could only turn away with a huff. I hadn't actually planned to hang around. When the time came, I wouldn't even have to push. These upperclassmen would come around on their own. May as well step out and see how the other two were thinking it over. I stood and waved toward the back of the sofa. Little guy, let's go. Time for a walk. A soft little pink thing bounced out from behind the sofa. Bishui, big watery eyes blinking, sizing Luo Li up curiously. Oh, the second Luo Li saw it, her heart melted, and that flash of mortification got flung to the back of her mind. She crouched right down and tested the waters, cautious. Leave it with me. I'll wash it too, okay? Please. Seeing I didn't object, she found a perfect excuse. Didn't you say it picked up my smell? I'll just wash it clean for you. How's that? Bishui and I traded a glance, and the little thing got it at once, bouncing happily over to Luo Li and nuzzling its head into her palm. I pushed the door open and stepped out. A heat wave hot enough to cook a person slammed into me, and even I winced. This god-awful weather. Truly not fit for human beings. Good thing I'd rushed out the climate controller, or I'd probably be jerky like everyone else out here. I looked up. Qin Xian's and Xia Yubing's slender figures were a little blurry in the searing, rippling air. The two proud heavens favorites were still gritting it out. They heard the noise, glanced back at me, but said nothing. Won't bend. Then keep baking. I wasn't going to push. I leaned against the doorframe, listening to the splashing water inside, threaded now and then with Luo Li's laughter as she played with Bishui. Against this survival backdrop, the sound was sweeter than any music. Then I opened my friend's list and got down to real business. That iced lemon tea just now hadn't come from nowhere. Its source was a target I'd taken a bit of interest in. While browsing the exchange, I'd stumbled on someone listing iced lemon tea at a ludicrous price, 10,000 planks. Naturally, I wasn't going to be that sucker. I just added the seller as a friend, and after some back and forth, traded a mere 5 liters of fresh water for it. On the surface, this deal was a bloodbath, but what I'd had my eye on was the seller herself. By Jingxi, overall rating 92. That was the point. Summer. Sis bai, was the water good? She replied almost instantly. Dodgy made me cry. So good next time I pull a drink. I'll sell it to you too. Shy. I smiled. Summer. Then want to come to the island and drink it in person? I'll sail over to pick you up. Dodgy made me cry. That's not really convenient. My boyfriend's on my team too. How would I have the nerve to come over to yours? That was exactly what I wanted to hear. The reason I was still chatting with her was to confirm one thing, her talent. As long as it was below A tier, this was a windfall. Summer, didn't you say your boyfriend looks down on your talent? What is it exactly? 1 liter of water for the intel deal? On a little island 5 nautical miles away, Bai Jingxi looked at the message and glanced reflexively at Lu Xiao and her 2 other teammates nearby. The 3 of them were celebrating the 5 liters of water she'd just traded for, giddy like they'd hit the jackpot. It was her chest, her skill in negotiating with the server's number 1, Summer, that had landed that much water. Yet when it came to splitting it, she didn't get a word in. The one with the best talent took 2.5 liters outright, Lu Xiao and the other guy a liter each, and she, with the weakest talent, got a measly 500 milliliters. And that so-called boyfriend of hers didn't make a peep about it, just grinned and figured the split was perfectly fair. Bai Jingxi gave a cold little laugh, sighed, and replied, Dodgy made me cry. Sure, then thanks for the water, kid. Dodgy made me cry, my talent's F tier. I won't say what it does, wouldn't want you laughing at me. F tier. My heart gave a sudden jolt. Got it. An F tier talent meant that as long as Bai Jingxi boarded my island of her own free will, I could copy it outright. Never mind what the effect was, a free talent was itself a quantum leap. And on top of that, I could upgrade talents. Any piece of junk could be made worthwhile in my hands. I nearly couldn't stay in my seat, wanting to sail over right then and invite her across. But I quickly forced myself calm. The trigger condition was spelled out plainly. The goddess had to board willingly. Force wouldn't work, which was fine. Forced fruit isn't sweet. This was something she had to nod to herself. Summer, Yuri short on water over there. Dodgy made me cry. Of course we are. I only got 500 milliliters of what we just traded for. I'm furious. Aggrieved. Summer, sounds like you're not having a great time over there, sis Bai. And your boyfriend just watches. Dodgy made me cry. Don't get me started. He thinks I'm useless. Being able to trade for water is the most value I've got. Sobbing. I rubbed my hands together. Now I had a red on it. Someone wrung dry by her own team. Clearly capable, but treated like an ATM. Wasn't that exactly the teammate I was looking for? Summer, since you're not happy over there, why not come to my island for a change of scene? Just come over and there's all the food and drink you want. How about it? Dodgy made me cry. In your dreams. What happens to them if I leave? And my boyfriend would never agree. Angry. Summer, here's the deal. I'll spare your team 30 liters of fresh water, call it a goodwill gesture, so they can't hold, we're short on water, over you. The rest, you decide for yourself. Summer. Oh, and I've got an air-conditioned room here, just waiting for you to come enjoy. 5 nautical miles away, Bai Jingxi was stunned speechless. 30 liters of water? Just how much water did he have? The offer was too tempting. Tempting enough that in Lu Xiao's place, even he would probably be swayed. Not to mention an air-conditioned room. She didn't doubt for a second that he was bluffing. From the earlier server-wide announcements, everyone knew he'd gotten a climate controller blueprint. And for a monster who topped 3 leaderboards, building it was child's play. She was truly fed up with this killing heat, fed up with her teammates' subtle disdain, and most of all fed up with Lu Xiao's cold indifference. Going to his island for a few days, basking in AC, sipping cold water, call it a vacation. Doesn't that sound pretty nice? It was just, she looked at Lu Xiao's back, her heart drumming. She both hoped he'd agree and feared he actually would. Dodgy made me cry. I'll find a chance to ask. Dizzy. Summer. Sure to. Time to twist the knife a little more. Summer. Someone's in the shower over here right now. Once she's done, I'll send your water over. Shower. Bai Jingxi fell silent again. She could practically smell the sweat clinging to her own body. If she could just take a nice, comfortable shower. Dodgy made me cry. Aya, little brother, quit teasing your big sis. Any more, and you'll have me drooling to death. Flustered. Looking at that message, I smiled, satisfied. That was exactly the effect I wanted. You have to get them itching, and then they'll take that step themselves. Just then, Luo Li's crisp voice rang out from inside the cabin. Hey, I'm done washing up. I glanced once more at the two figures at the island's edge, Qin Xian and Xia Yubing still planted in the blazing sun like two devoted statues waiting for their men, and only then pushed open the cabin door, reassured. The floor was damp, dotted with a trail of small footprints. The Luoli inside was like a different person from the one who'd walked in. Her freshly rinsed skin had a clean glow to it. She looked refreshed all over, even her features somehow more vivid. In that dry change of clothes, holding a freshly washed biscuit still dripping with water, her whole body had loosened up. Just moments ago she'd been circling the edge of death, and now she looked like she'd just woken from a nightmare. Seeing me come in, she hugged the little octopus a bit tighter, a touch self-conscious. I sat down on the sofa, idly browsed the exchange, picked out a cooling accessory that maintained a low temperature, and tossed it to her. Put it on, it'll keep you cool. Luoli took it, and the chill of it surprised her. A game world really did have everything, even handy stuff like this. Once she'd gotten herself sorted, she dawdled along while before stammering out. Could I, maybe, spare a little water for them? Them, of course, meaning the two outside. By now Qin Xian and Xia Yubing were probably near their limit. Without water soon, someone really could die. I raised an eyebrow. Didn't peg you for the loyal to your friends type. Probably afraid I'd read too much into it. She hurried to backpedal. I can use the water to go talk them around while I'm at it. Two gorgeous girls. You don't want to watch them die of thirst, do you? That reasoning I could work with. Sending her out with water was a good thing anyway. Her standing in the doorway like this, fresh from AC and a shower, refreshed all over, would let those two out there see at a glance just how cushy she had it. That kind of living comparison beat 100 rounds of me talking. But I wasn't going to give in that easily. Good heart, but the water's a no. Luoli blinked. Why? Didn't you say earlier you wanted them to stay on the island? I did say that. I spread my hands. But they chose not to. How's that my fault? If they'd been willing, they might be sipping drinks like you by now. And it's not like I asked for anything outrageous. Luoli was momentarily stuck for words. Crude, but not wrong. The two outside were still toughing it out on campus queen pride, which at this point was honestly a little laughable. But what if something actually happens to them? Just spare a little. You've got so much here. My water doesn't fall out of the sky either. I shifted gears. Here's the thing. Weren't you a VTuber? Run a stream in a bit, build up some hype for me, and acquire blueprints on the side. You handle that side of things, and I'll get your channel off the ground first. Luoli blinked, not expecting me to steer it there. As for those 2 cups of water outside, I went on. Consider it in advance on your wages. Front it now, and we'll square it against your cut later. Luoli was completely stunned. She'd probably run a quick calculation in her head. Streaming, acquiring blueprints. That was her wheelhouse, her old trade with hundreds of thousands of followers. Trading that for 2 life-saving cups of water was an excellent deal. Even better, the water counted as something she'd earned, not begged for. It left her dignity fully intact. Deal. She bit her lip, but in the end she nodded. But it's settled. The part I'm in charge of, you don't go meddling. Relax. Leave the professional work to the professional. I took 2 wooden cups out of my pack, ladled a cupful into each, and handed them over. One look at the cups and Luoli nearly short-circuited. These dinky wooden cups were the size of teacups. Was that bit of water even enough to wet a throat? Too little for you. I made as if to take them back. Then I'll save these 2. Who said too little? She snatched them away in a flash, dashed over to the barrel, deftly ladled both cups brimming full, then cradled them and bolted out of the cabin without looking back. The door opened, a blast of heat roared in, and got blocked back out by the door panel. I leaned back into the sofa, listening to the faint commotion outside, Luoli's voice, and the 2 others' suddenly sharp exclamations. I didn't have to say a thing. That cup of water, those dry clean clothes, that face finally brought back to life, worked better than any speech to talk them over. Luoli carried the 2 pitifully tiny wooden cups. The moment the cabin door pulled open, a searing heat wave laced with briny sea air slammed into her. After that little while in the climate-controlled room, she'd nearly forgotten what kind of hellish weather it was out here. The instant her foot hit the sand, a piercing heat shot from the sole straight to the crown of her head. SSS. She hissed, swayed, and nearly sloshed the water out of her hands. With this tiny amount, If she spilled it, all that talking she'd done inside and that job she'd taken on would become one big joke. She bit her lip and, ignoring the sting underfoot, broke into something close to a run toward the two wilting figures nearby. Qin Xin and Xia Yubing were leaning against each other, heads drooping, like two plants on the verge of withering. Hearing the rushed footsteps, Qin Xin lifted her head with effort and squinted, a blurry shape rushing closer, sharpening into Luo Li. The two of them were stunned. How long had it been? The Luo Li before them, in fresh, clean clothes, with a dewy glow on her face, didn't look like she belonged to the same world as their own grimy, haggard selves. Here, got you some water, wet your throats first. Luo Li held out the cups, a note of irritation in her voice. Seeing her once radiant best friends now with cracked lips and exhausted faces, she felt a mix of anger and ache. Look at the state of you, still clinging to your pride and suffering for it. Qin Xion's voice was badly hoarse. She looked at the small cup and hesitated. Little Li, about that, Lin Feng just contacted me, gave us half a bottle of water. We already drank it. What? Luo Li's mind went blank for a second. She'd just been in there negotiating, taking on that whole job, putting up with that jerk's teasing. And they weren't even short on water? Her brow knit at once. Then why didn't you say so earlier? You made me, in there. She trailed off for a while, never managing to get the rest of the embarrassing part out, her face flushed red. I already paid the price. This water has to get drunk. Otherwise, didn't I let that jerk off easy for nothing? Drink it. Her tone went firm. I worked hard to get this. No sense wasting it. Qin Xian and Xia Yubing exchanged a look. Seeing Luo Li flushed and flustered with anger, how could they not understand? She'd clearly suffered no small grievance in front of Xia Shang for these two mouthfuls of water. Neither said more. They quietly took the cups and drained them. Only then did Luo Li take the cups back. It really was too scorching out, and she didn't want to linger, so she just laid it out plainly. What are you two planning exactly? Just toughing it out on this beach for 6 days, waiting for your knights in shining armor. Qin Xian nodded. Lin Feng and I are only 15 nautical miles apart in a straight line. If he gets lucky and lands a voyage beast, he might make it over in less than 6 days. She licked her lips and looked at Luo Li with worry. If Xia Shang goes too far, just come out. Worst case, we leave together. We did the math, another afternoon of grinding, and we should have enough resources to buy water. And Lin Feng said his talent's S tier. He'll figure out a way to get me 2 bottles a day from now on. Xia Yubing took her hand too. Little Li, don't put yourself through too much. 2 bottles? Luo Li laughed. In weather like this, 2 bottles wasn't even enough to fill a tooth gap. Since when were you two so easy to please? She pointed at her new clothes. See this? The junior gave it to me. She stepped closer, took Qin Xian's hand, and pressed it to her leg. Feel that? Cooling gear. I just took a shower. Do you have any idea how much water that used? She fixed them with a hard look. I'm telling you all this so you'll face reality. What good is an S-tier talent? Can he give you all this? Qin Xian knew, of course, that he couldn't. Lin Feng was scrambling just to keep himself alive. That half bottle had probably been scraped out from between his own teeth. Pressed by the question, her face went pale, and yet she let slip something even more cutting. He's still my boyfriend. I couldn't do it. The way you did, turn around and go grab onto someone else's coattails. The instant the words were out, Xia Yubing pinched her hard from behind, her face changing. Luo Li took a step back, staring at her blankly, her just-thawed mood doused completely by that one line. The way I did. She tugged at the corner of her mouth in a cold smile. What about me? You looking down on me for swallowing my pride and signing on? That ex you dated for 2 years, how'd you dump him? Wasn't it because Lin Feng drives a Porsche? And now you're saying the way you did. Don't you think you're being a little hypocritical? Qin Xian realized she'd misspoken and rushed to apologize. Little Li, I didn't mean it like that. I'm not reading too much into it. Luo Li shook her head. I think exactly the way you two do. The difference is I'm willing to own it openly. And you? You really don't want to go into that room? You're just sore that Xia Shang didn't roll out an 8-man palanquin to invite you. How laughable. With that, she flung the 2 cups onto the sand and turned to leave without a backward glance. Xia Yubing wanted to call out, but in the end said nothing. Luo Li returned to the cabin with red-rimmed eyes, sat on the threshold a while, silently brushed the sand off herself, and only then pulled the door open and stepped back into that cool, comfortable world. I was on the sofa playing with Bisui, and one look at her frost-bitten eggplant face had me raising an eyebrow. What? The missionary work fail? She pouted, tears welling in her eyes, plopped down onto the cold floor, hugged her knees, and muttered glumly, "I'm never butting into their business again." They didn't appreciate it. She fought to keep from crying. Their boyfriend Lin Feng gave them half a bottle of water, turned their noses up at me for swallowing my pride and signing on with you. Humiliating. I almost laughed out loud. Those two, looking down on Luo Li. Of JCU's 3 campus beauties, Luo Li's boyfriend came from the most ordinary background. The other two's boyfriends were both famously rich and handsome on campus, especially Xia Yubing's, who had both money and connections. I shot Bisui a glance, and the little thing leapt off me, scampered over to Luo Li's leg, and gently nuzzled her. Feeling that soft little bundle against her leg, she slowly lifted her head, eyes red-rimmed, a tear still hanging from her lashes about to fall. Only after gathering the little thing into her arms did she feel a bit better. "You're saying they're not short on water?" I asked. "How could they not be?" she said thickly. "They just won't drop dead for now." "Won't drop dead" works for me. I hadn't expected her to win them over in one go anyway. The thing that did surprise me was Lin Feng having water. Not that he couldn't, but that he was actually willing to give it up for Qin Xin. Looks like those two had deeper feelings than I'd assumed. Now that's interesting. You know where Lin Feng's water came from? Luo Li buried her face in Bishui's soft body, her voice muffled. How would I know? She just said his talent's S tier. Who knows where the water came from? S tier talent. I stroked my chin. Producing his own water was basically impossible. Most likely it came from chests. Or bought off the exchange. If it was the latter, my eyes lit up. I immediately opened the exchange and switched to the freshwater category. 8 pages total, 10 listings a page. Day 1, freshwater was hard currency. Most of what people pulled, they kept for themselves, and only a few were willing to list it. My fingers got to work. 500 milliliters mineral water, 150 wood, buy. Wood minus 150. This one, 160 stone, buy. Stone minus 160. Expressionless, I swept the listings like a madman, tossing bottle after bottle of mineral water onto the floor. Luo Li, mid-wallow, heard the noise and looked up curiously, and then witnessed a scene she'd never forget. Bottles of mineral water kept materializing in my hands. 1, 2, 3, and amid the crisp clatter, a small mountain of water bottles rapidly took shape before her. Her mouth fell open wider and wider. Where is he getting all this mineral water? In disbelief, she opened the exchange, and sure enough, the fresh water for sale was visibly dwindling, dropping by several bottles almost every time she refreshed. I swept every drop of buyable fresh water off the exchange, refreshed to confirm no new stock was coming in, and only then stopped, satisfied. Cornering the freshwater market dovetailed perfectly with my next move. I stood, nudged the pile of mineral water at my feet, 81 bottles in all, and said to the petrified Luo Li, "Right now, there isn't a single drop of fresh water in the whole Jiangxing district except mine. Lin Feng's S-tier talent. Wonder if it can wring water out of sand." Luo Li's eyes went wide. This is him getting back at them for me? She was about to thank me when I added another line. "Oh, and don't waste this water. Use it as the backdrop when we give water away on stream later." Luo Li, finally somewhat recovered, was still staring blankly at the mountain of mineral water at her feet. Ignoring her shock, I walked straight over to the humming purifier and rapped a knuckle against the barrel, 2 dull thunks. Set those water bottles up as a backdrop wall on the windowsill. The most eye-grabbing arrangement you can manage. My pace was rapid, leaving her no room to hesitate or ask questions. For the water giveaway, have people add me directly. As for you. I turned and gave her a once-over, then smiled. You don't have to do a thing. Luo Li was lost. Huh? Then what do I do on the stream? Be the mascot, I said succinctly. Just look good. I remembered one more thing. Make it clear on stream. Nominally it's free, but anyone claiming water has to pay 10 of any resource as a good faith deposit. Remember, you're a savior, not a pushover. Don't coddle the freeloaders. A smooth string of instructions, laying everything out for her. I dug up a long, cream-colored sun jacket from the exchange too, mainly to shield her from the sun. Put this on first. Luoli felt a flicker of warmth and pulled it on. With her petite frame and the large size I'd bought, the hem nearly reached her knees, like a trench coat. She did a spin. Looks good. That white-haired look of hers, all in white, made her seem even more full of pep. Looks good. Get ready first. You can preen at your leisure tonight. Got it. She pouted, sliding me a sidelong glance. This junior's actually pretty thoughtful. She arranged the mineral water bottles in a neat row along the windowsill behind her. Under the sunlight, they glittered, mouth-watering to look at. She even shifted the sofa to the center of the window so she and that wall of water would both fit in the shot. Ready? She took a deep breath and shot me a slightly nervous glance. I flashed her an okay, then opened the district channel and started spamming. Summer, stream-only limited event. Free water, free water, free water. Stream link, times 10. 10 messages fired off in one breath. The next second, the whole Jiangxing channel exploded like cold water dropped into a vat of boiling oil. The viewer count on Luo Li's stream shot up like a rocket, from 0 to 99.99 plus in under 5 seconds, and that was just the system's display cap. Damaku flooded in like a burst dam and drowned the screen in moments. Luo Li, a 3-year streaming veteran, was momentarily dumbstruck by the sheer scale. This was her first time on camera in the flesh. Before, she'd always used a virtual avatar. She could only fall back on muscle memory and squeeze out a sweet, professional smile. Welcome, everyone, to my stream. She put my ID up. We're giving away water for free today. Add this person as a friend. Each person just pays 10 resources. The moment she finished, the Damaku erupted. Right now, sellers willing to part with water were few and far between, and the exchange's fresh water had just been swept clean. The channel was buzzing about it. One look at my spam plus Luo Li's stream, and even the dullest could guess the reason. In the sea of Damaku, a few especially pointed comments caught Luo Li's eye. Heh, nice script. Buy out all the water on the exchange first, then trot out a girl streamer to play free water giveaway. Think we're idiots? Hoards resources to corner the market, leaves everyone parched, then prances out playing savior. Summer, people like you are the worst. No wonder all the fresh water on the exchange is gone. These two didn't post just once. They spammed the stream like crazy, lighting the powder keg and kicking off a big wave of pylon. Luo Li's head swam. Explain however she might, the Damaku wouldn't listen. She could only curse this garbage system for not even having a mute function. I was watching too, my brow furrowing slightly, but the data was what I cared about more. Curses aside, Luo Li's follower count was climbing like it had gone mad. The number jittered wildly, leveling up every few seconds. Under a minute, and it broke 100,000, momentum undiminished. Luo Li stared hard at the screen. The 700,000 followers she'd built over 3 years of streaming were utterly surpassed here in a mere 5 minutes. By the time she was so excited her voice shook, the count had stably broken 1 million. About 10 minutes later, the wildly surging number finally slowed, settling around 1.82 million. With over 10 million players in the Jiangxing district, the traffic was terrifying. And these were all living, breathing people. What did that mean? It meant the top influencers of old had to step aside in front of her. But the Damaku's tone had been steered off course, from free water to poisoning the whole district. Luo Li, a small-time streamer, couldn't possibly hold back a pylon this big. She looked at me, a little lost, and was about to speak when she spotted a comment that flooded her with relief. Summer. At those two stirring the pot. Whoever's got their coordinates, 2 liters of water for them. The clamoring Damaku stalled eerily for a second, then erupted even more violently. Boss, me. I locked onto them just now. DM me, I want water. I added this person as a friend, and they readily sent over coordinates. Not far from me, only 30 nautical miles. Summer, good. How do you know their coordinates? Lonely Beanjo Heat. That's my talent. Thanks for the water, boss. Need anything in the future, just hit me up anytime. An unexpected bonus. This talent might genuinely come in handy down the line. On top of the 2 liters I'd promised, I threw in an extra liter. No need to hold back. I've got those two's coordinates written down. That thunderbolt move put Luo Li considerably more at ease. Looking at her 7-figure follower count, then at the 2 clowns in the Damaku who were visibly about to wilt, she suddenly found it all laughable. Right, I've got a man behind me who's cornered the whole district's water supply and tops 3 leaderboards. Why am I bothering with these sour little maggots? Whatever she did, he'd cover for her. An unprecedented confidence rose from the bottom of her heart. Mimicking the tone of a power woman from a workplace drama, she worked to make her voice sound cold and commanding. First, thank you, Mr. Summer, for the aid you've provided to everyone in the Jiangxing district. Anyone who doesn't like it is welcome to keep drinking their own saliva. We won't stop you. Second, if 10 resources is too steep for you, feel free to leave. Not everyone qualifies for our goodwill. She paused. Now, those who want to live, you may begin sending friend requests. The moment those lines were out, the rabble-rousing Damaku was completely drowned by the Damaku desperate for fresh water, and the tone finally normalized. The masses have sharp eyes, so what if there was an agenda behind it? The free water was real, and everyone had a shot at getting a piece. Holy crap. The streamer's this cute, but this fierce. What a gap. Why'd those 2 stop spamming? Chickened out. El Mayo. Wait till boss shows up at their door, they're toast. Followed. Streamer's a queen, boss Summer's a legend. Hurry up and hand out water. I'm dying of thirst. When's boss Summer going to pay those 2 a visit? Stream it, please. I sat down by the barrel. Luo Li switched from queen mode back to playful, sneaking me a wink, fishing for praise. I nodded approvingly. Good. Just like that. Only then did she contentedly flash an okay, then turned back to her aloof persona and started interacting with the Damaku. I reopened the friend requests I'd shut off earlier. Ding, ding, ding. The chimes instantly merged into one continuous din, splitting my skull. I spent 1,500 wood on a blueprint for a 200 milliliters wooden cup. Once learned, I could craft them myself with materials. 1 cup cost just 5 wood, 200 cups only 1,000. I steadied myself and started filtering through the flood of requests. The water giveaway was, 1, to build hype for Luo Li, and 2, my talent-recognized teammates, so naturally I'd take the chance to scout for a suitable production partner. Overall ratings were tagged right on the names, plain as day. For anyone who'd paid the 10 resource deposit, I approved the request and traded over a cup of water. No cilantro, overall rating 74. Note, boss, water please, I'll trade wood for it. Number 1 cutie, overall rating 65. Note, wah, dying of thirst. Lemon flavor, overall rating 71. Note, none, oh crap, overall rating 81. Note, boss, look at me. After filtering for a good while, not a single goddess hit 90. I wasn't surprised. Top-grade partners aren't easy to come by. Wah. Thank you, boss Summer. Thank you so much. Thanks, boss. Can I come visit your island? I'm super entertaining. Boss, can I trade with you for water often from now on? Looking at these decently rated notes, I felt a twinge of something. They didn't clear 90, but if they hadn't landed in this apocalyptic ocean, every one of them was probably someone people fawned over. Too bad. What I was looking for wasn't just a passing rating. The more important thing was a low talent tier. The lower, the more it benefited me. The 200 cups were soon all given out. Without batting an eye, I crafted another 200 and continued the blind box-like process. Tiring, sure, but I found it enjoyable. Another hour or so passed, and just as my fingers were going a little numb, one friend request that stood out from the rest made me raise an eyebrow. Lin Feng is God. I'm Qin Xian's boyfriend. The name's Lin Feng. I had some impression of this Lin Feng. A well-known rich kid at Jiangxing University, his ride a flashy Porsche 911, attending class basically just for roll call. Even knowing Qin Xian was his girlfriend, there was never any shortage of pretty girls around him angling to take her place. Summer, something you need. He replied almost instantly, the impatience bleeding through every line. Lin Feng is God. Can you lend me some water? I had a rough idea now. With the exchange's water swept clean by me, he'd gotten desperate. The sun was vicious. Qin Xian's side was probably failing, pressing him to do something. Summer, why would I lend you any? Lin Feng latched on like he'd grabbed a lifeline, his tone turning warm. Lin Feng is God. Come on, bro, don't be like that. Aren't you giving water away free on your stream? Do a guy a favor, lend me some first. Lin Feng is God. Weary schoolmates after all, bound to run into each other, looking out for one another's only right. Lin Feng is God. Besides, isn't Qin Xian on your island? With her there, you afraid I won't pay you back? My eyebrow rose. That last line, that was the real point, wasn't it? Summer, oh? You mean putting Qin Xian up as collateral? Lin Feng is God. Don't put it so ugly. What collateral? Come on, that sense of wrongness deepened. This was nothing like the Lin Feng I remembered, the one who looked down his nose at everyone. No matter how apocalyptic things got, a personality didn't warp this fast. For a bit of water, he was this eager to push a teammate out the door. When something's this off, there's a catch. I didn't call him out. I just played along to see what he was selling. Summer, how much do you want to borrow? Lin Feng is God. 5 liters. How about 5 liters? 5 liters? This guy's hide was thicker than a ship's hull. Summer, 500 milliliters max. Take it or leave it. He went quiet for a full minute. I could just picture his agonized, conflicted face. Lin Feng is God. Fine. 500 it is. I'll pay you back within a week. Summer, and if you can't. Lin Feng is God. Bro, it won't come to that, right? It's 500 milliliters. You think I'd welch on that? Relax. I tapped the rim of the barrel idly. Summer, I'm only asking. If you can't pay it back, then what? Another long silence on the other end, longer than the last, full of struggle and weighing. I decided to add a log to the fire and probe his limit. Summer, here's the deal, for old schoolmates' sake. If you can't pay it back, Qin Xian comes to my island and pitches in for a month. How's that? A long while passed before a new message popped up. Lin Feng is God. Fine. We'll do it your way. Where's the line on this guy? Frowning, I stood up from the barrel, stepped over to the window, took a bottle of the mineral water Luo Li had arranged, and sent it straight to Lin Feng through a trade. Done with that, I turned my gaze out the window. On the beach, Qin Xian and Xia Yubing sat side by side, gazing at the boundless sea, their expressions forlorn. In under half a minute, a bottle of mineral water materialized in Qin Xian's hand. She started. Then her face lit with delight. She twisted it open and took a big gulp, but quickly stopped and carefully handed the remaining half bottle to Xia Yubing beside her. My gaze sharpened slightly. Lin Feng had actually given that life-saving 500 milliliters, every last drop, to Qin Xian. That clashed completely with his earlier eagerness to trade his girlfriend for water. Playing hard to get? Or showing me Qin Xian's value this way? Or else, something else up his sleeve? This guy was kind of interesting. I pulled my gaze back, didn't dwell on it, and returned to the barrel to continue my needle-in-a-haystack blind box endeavor. Just as I was dozing off, eyelids drooping, one friend request that stood out snapped me wide awake. Whale Baby overall rating, 90. Note, none. 90 points. I sat bolt upright. This was the second person to break a 90 rating after Bai Jingxi, a top-grade find. I quickly approved the request and opened the profile. A woman of about 23 or 24, sharp black short hair, a defined jawline, keen eyes, the kind of aggressive beauty. But what I cared about right now wasn't her looks, it was her talent. This was a shot at potentially doubling output, even copying a talent outright. Summer, hello. She didn't reply. Instead, she sent over an empty trade window. Very aloof and very direct. I thought it over. It wasn't a good idea to open by asking about her talent. That'd come off like a creep. I put up a 200 milliliters cup of water and, without even waiting for her 10 resource deposit, traded it straight over. Show a little sincerity first, makes the rest easier. Summer, mind if I ask you something? I waited a dozen seconds. Well, baby, go ahead. Cold as ice. 3 degrees colder than Xia Yubing's glacier, even. I asked patiently. Summer, what's your talent here? The other end fell silent. Well, baby, what do you ask? Summer, nothing, just curious. That line seemed to hit a landmine. A barrage of messages came pouring in. Well, baby, so that's it. Well, baby, you run this free water gimmick, add us all one by one, just to interrogate us about this? Well, baby, want to see who's worth using, then sort us into tiers and slap a price tag on us. Well, baby, UVE got a bit of resources, so now you're playing pick-and-choose games in the apocalypse. Disgusting. I stared at the screen, a head full of question marks. What's going on, lady? Why the volcanic temper? If you don't want to say, then don't. Did she have to put it that harshly? But this was a 90-pointer I'd worked hard to hook. I didn't want to give up just like that, and was about to phrase something to smooth it over. Before the message even sent, a glaring red exclamation mark popped up beside the chat box. The other party has removed you. Well, damn, straight to a block? Fine. Real nice. Mooched a cup of water off me and chewed me out. You won't say it yourself? Then don't blame me for paying a visit in person. Without hesitation, I dug up that locator guy from before. Summer, can you find this person's location for me? Card, well baby, Lonely Bean Joe Heat. Boss, my talent has a cooldown. It's not that fast. Crying laughing, Summer, sure. Tell me the second it's off cooldown. Lonely Bean Joe Heat. No problem, boss. From now on, one word from you, and I'll point and shoot. Lonely Bean Joe Heat. How's this one a woman? She get on your bad side? Summer. It's nothing, just curious where she is. Lonely Bean Joe Heat. Got it. I won't ask what I shouldn't. As the setting sun dyed the sea a stretch of orange, the purifier's output gradually fell behind consumption. The E-tier and F-tier goddesses I was after never reappeared, which left me a bit deflated. But it also made me all the more grateful for my luck. If I hadn't happened to get dropped on the same starting island as the 3 upperclassmen, my SSS tier talent would honestly be a useless ornament right now. I stood and stretched, my joints cracking in a string of pops. In one afternoon, I'd given out close to 2,000 servings of water. And those 2,000 cups had brought Luo Li's stream over 2 million real followers, a downright monstrous haul. The main bottleneck now was capacity. 2,500 milliliters every 10 minutes was still a drop in the bucket against the enormous player base. But I wasn't in a rush. Let the purifier run all night, and tomorrow I could launch a much larger giveaway. I turned toward the sofa. Luo Li was cradling Bishui, chatting excitedly with the Damaku. I signaled her to pause. She got it, and wrapped up to the camera. All right, that's it for today's stream. I know a lot of you didn't get water. I'm really sorry. Our production is limited. Please bear with us. Going forward, anyone with good blueprints or materials can DM me. We can trade for anything. Mr. Summers says there'll be more giveaways like this from time to time, so stay tuned. With that, she closed the stream. The instant the stream ended, she went boneless and slumped into the sofa, letting out a long breath. Phew, I'm wiped. Those closing lines, I quite admired. She really had been a streamer and knew full well the purpose behind my cultivating her. Besides, facing a barrage from millions of viewers was a huge mental drain. But Luo Li's heart was filled with an unprecedented satisfaction. She streamed not only because she was an internet addict, but because she relished being held in the palms of countless fans. She stared at the followers, 2,013,451 figure, eyes wide as saucers, confirmed it several times over, and even pinched her own thigh. SSSS, that hurt. Not a dream. 2 million live followers. In terms of real heat, it more than held its own against the big influencers from before her transmigration, the ones with tens of millions. At the thought, the corners of her mouth couldn't help curling up. For the first time, she felt that coming to this miserable ocean wasn't entirely a bad thing, and meeting Xiaoshang was the greatest stroke of luck. Without either of those, she could never have had all this. Right then, her stomach growled traitorously. Junior, I'm hungry. She clutched her belly, looking pitiful. My stomach grumbled in timely agreement. Busy all day, I'd had nothing but water, not a single grain of rice. What do you want to eat? Under my gaze, Luo Li felt oddly, faintly nervous, and quickly shrank back, hugging her shins, putting up a defensive posture. He's not going to seize the chance to make some outrageous demand again, is he? I couldn't help laughing. Relax. You did so well today. You're the MVP. I'm not making you do anything. Only then did she quietly relax. But then it hit her. What was there even to eat in this god-awful place? Having a chunk of bread to gnaw on would be lucky. What's there to eat? Don't tell me I get to order off a menu. I smiled mysteriously. Australian lobster, how's that sound? Australian lobster? There's Australian lobster to eat. Luo Li thought she was hearing things, her eyes lighting up like 2 little bulbs. Half in disbelief, she opened the exchange, fingers swiping fast through the food category, and then her hand stopped. Australian lobster, 1.2 kilograms steamed, with house special garlic sauce price. 9,999 plank seller. snap of the fingers. She reflexively hit refresh, and that outrageously expensive listing was gone. Look here. I smiled. Luoli snapped her head up to see a massive serving platter in my hands at some point. On it a big lobster, crimson all over, split down the middle to reveal plump, snow-white meat drizzled with a layer of golden garlic, a bold, fresh aroma riding the heat straight up the nose. Her mouth watered to the absolute max in an instant. Wow, you actually bought it. Her voice was trembling. Isn't this way too extravagant? 10,000 planks. Using resources enough to trade for life-saving supplies. All for a single dinner. If the people outside fighting bloody for one mouthful of water knew, they'd brand the two of them irredeemable criminals on the spot. I set the platter on the floor between us and spread my hands with a touch of regret. Shame I made a whole lap and didn't find anyone selling red wine. It'd have been perfect to pair. I'd had my eye on this for a while. Buying it now also counted as a reward for Luoli. Besides, I was craving it myself. I'd never once eaten this fabled Australian lobster. Luoli came from a decent family and had eaten Australian lobster a few times, but tasting it again in a world where even clean water was a luxury felt completely different, like the whole world was starving and she alone was full. Right now her drool was practically about to drip. Wait, Junior, hold on, she suddenly cried. I have to take a photo. Let everyone see the kind of life we're living. Using the game's built-in camera, she snapped several from different angles and added a caption. First survival meal. Limited conditions, so we'll just have to make do. Smiley. Posted to her personal feed. As a big influencer, with 2 million followers, the post naturally blew up. In barely a minute, the likes broke 10,000. Holy crap. Is this how people live? They're eating lobster? That's Australian lobster, right? I'm crying with envy, drooling all over the floor. Luoli, when's the next water giveaway? Count me in. Sis, can you get Boss Summer to DM me back? I'll trade my treasured blueprint. Envy is disfiguring me. Why do I not even get a sip of water? Looking at the comments section, uniformly green with envy, Luoli's little vanity was hugely satisfied, the corners of her mouth lifting high. I'm ready. Thanks, Junior. Let's dig in. I smiled, twisted off one of the big claws and handed it to her, then tore off the other for myself. Crack, the shell split, revealing a whole length of snow-white meat, and I rolled it through that golden sauce at the bottom of the platter, sauce that had long since mingled with the essence broth steamed out of the lobster, deeply savory. The meat hit my mouth, and even my eyes lit up a little. Pricey, sure, but genuinely delicious. On the other side, Luoli had long since abandoned all ladle-like pretense. Seeing me take a satisfying bite while she couldn't crack open that rock-hard claw, she got frantic. Quick! Junior, help me crack it open. I took it, cracked it for her, and handed it back. She dipped it in sauce and took a big, eager bite. MF. So good. Fresh, sweet, springy smooth. Eyes narrowed. Both her feet wiggling. Mouth crammed full. She ate while bobbing her head. Her little face shone with grease, a dab of golden garlic at the corner of her mouth. I found it a little funny and pointed at the corner of my own mouth. Right here. She stuck out the tip of her tongue and gave it a lick. Got it. I nodded and took a pack of tissues out of my pack, setting it between us. She stared blankly at the gesture. Looking at him like this, the Junior's actually kind of handsome, tall too, just a pity he's a bit scrawny and likes to bully people. After that one glance, she sank back into the bliss of the lobster feast. Before long, she patted her belly and let out a comfortable little burp. How is this survival? This is better than a vacation. She was about to get up for a bottle of water when a DM suddenly popped up. It was Xia Yubing. Xia Yubing, Little Li. I'm sorry, I was in the wrong earlier. I apologize to you. Xia Yubing, Little Li. Hu Ming reached out to me. He's in a really bad way. Almost in tears, says he knows he messed up. Maybe give him a reply? Hu Ming? That name had long since been tossed into the trash bin of her memory and dragged into Do Not Disturb while she was at it. She meant to ignore it outright, but seeing Xia Yubing's message, she somehow opened that avatar crown with a 99+ red dot and scrolled up, expressionless. At first it was apologies, remorse, swearing up and down that he was wrong. But the moment she started streaming, the messages curdled. Pry the hatch open. Who are you dressing up like that for? Carrying on with that Junior behind my back. Huh? Pry the hatch open. Luo Li. Say something. Gone mute. Give me an explanation. Pry the hatch open. Real classy. Throwing yourself at someone for a mouthful of water. Do you have any shame left? Luo Li's expression cooled bit by bit. And right after she posted that lobster update, Hu Ming's attitude did another 180, groveling all the way down into the dust. Pry the hatch open. Little Li, will you talk to me? Pry the hatch open. I was wrong. All that earlier was nonsense from a guy who'd lost his head. Don't be mad. I'm begging you to forgive me. Pry the hatch open. I'm really dying of thirst. Can you give me a sip of water? Just one. I'm begging you, it's my last request. Pry the hatch open. For the sake of how long we've been together, you wouldn't really just leave me to die, would you? Looking at these words, Luo Li felt a wave of nausea churn in her stomach. Laughable. When she was on the brink of heat stroke and came to him, what did she get besides empty promises? If she hadn't decisively given up the fantasy and turned to Xia Shang, she'd probably be a dehydrated corpse by now. She and Hu Ming had only ever been a transaction, a couple in name, without a single proper date. Now you know what it's like to be dying of thirst? Just cursed me out, and now you turn around and crawl back wagging your tail, begging for pity? This, pry the hatch open, your boyfriend? My voice came out of nowhere, startling her. This guy actually went and found the junior too? Still, she was curious what Hu Ming would say to him. Used to be. Not anymore. What did he want from you? Nothing much, I said. Said I stole his girl, wrecked his relationship, wants me to pay emotional damages. Opened with a demand for 100 liters of pure water. Puffed. Luo Li couldn't hold back a laugh. The nerve on him. Why doesn't he just ascend to heaven? The lunatic. The words had barely left her when another message from Hu Ming popped up. Pry the hatch open. Fine, fine, fine. You're dead set on this, huh? Good. Today I'll ruin your reputation for good. Luo Li forced down her disgust and opened it. And at the same time, her personal feed and the district channel both detonated with countless SS. She opened the district channel to find it had already boiled over, and she was at the center of the storm. I knew that girl was no good. What's with the Free Water Act? 2 million followers, and how many actually got water? Obviously a total scam. Upstairs nailed it. Says it's a giveaway, but really? I think it's just funneling traffic and hype to that Summer guy. Summer's no good either. Think about it. If all the fresh water gets cornered by him, what chance do the rest of us have? Only a fool believes Summer's a good guy. The two of them are birds of a feather. Heh, don't dare say much. The guy put a bounty on my coordinates. Scared. And the most glaring line of all came from Hu Ming. Pry the hatch open. Hi everyone. I'm the boyfriend of Luo Li, that water giveaway streamer. We've been together 5 years. Always going strong. And she betrayed me over a few mouthfuls of water. Got tangled up with this guy called Summer. The two of them teaming up to scam the whole district. And then turned around to humiliate me. People like this deserve to be saviors. Luo Li felt all the blood in her body rush to her head. What, together 5 years? What, teaming up to scam the whole district? This lie spinning, fabricating out of thin air bastard. Bang! She grabbed a bottle of pure water beside her and slammed it into the floor with all her strength, water splashing everywhere, catching me in the indiscriminate blast too. I sat up and skimmed the comments in the district channel. The ones leading the charge hardest, besides Hu Ming, were the two whose coordinates I'd already secured. After a round of fanning the flames, plenty of people had started doubting whether the water giveaway was real. Originally, I'd planned to spend a trifling amount of resources to smooth things over. But now, this wave of pylon wasn't just trashing Luo Li's reputation. It was dragging me down with it. And some were even starting to incite everyone to band together and boycott me. It was getting close to unmanageable. Handle it badly, and the fame Luo Li had only just built would be ruined for good, and my follow-up plans would go down the drain with it. This was no longer ordinary nonsense. It called for a heavy fist. You've got his coordinates, right? Luo Li nodded hard. I gave a wave, and Bishui, draped over the sofa, hopped lightly a few times and landed in my arms. Pinching its bouncy little head, I opened my pack in good spirits. Wood, 48,750 stone, 75,820 clay, 138,555. Bishui was only level 10, and what it manifested was still a shabby little dinghy. Poor on both speed and stability. Current feeding, 0/1, 100. I didn't want to waste time. Best to wrap this up before dark. A flick of thought, and I locked onto Clay. Straight to level 40. Clay minus 72,500. Bisui level up. Current, LV 20. Free stat points plus 10. District announcement. Congratulations to player Summer for raising the epic voyage beast, Bisui, to level 40. 3 golden announcements in a row, like 3 depth charges, detonating in a district channel already boiling over from the flame war. The whole channel stalled eerily for a few seconds, and then the tide of opinion abruptly reversed. The very people who'd been cursing Luo Li and questioning me moments ago now made their focus a show of deep concern for Hu Ming and the few other ringleaders. Everyone caught the scent of a coming storm. Boss Summer is about to get serious. The island lords of the Jiangxing district turned in an instant from participants into spectators, each pulling up a little stool to watch the explosive drama unfold. I looked at Bisui in my arms, form unchanged, but its aura noticeably stronger, and nodded, satisfied. 70,000 plus clay sunk into it, and my resource reserves were finally a bit more balanced. I turned to the Luo Li beside me, struck speechless by the string of announcements, and said calmly, "Let's go. Teach Hu Ming a lesson? Or something else." Whatever I was about to do, it stirred not a single ripple in her. She even felt that killing Hu Ming wouldn't begin to vent the hatred in her heart. If this guy hadn't cursed her out without rhyme or reason, she'd have been willing to gift him some water, call it a breakup settlement. "Okay, let's go." I rose first and pushed open the door. She clenched her fists and followed. The sun was half sunk, its orange afterglow staining the whole stretch of sea into a burning cloudscape. Bisui leapt into the water, a flash of pink. The next second, a sleek, sharply modern pink yacht replaced the old dinghy, sitting quietly beside the cabin. Manifested vessel, pink yacht, refined, speed, 35 knots length, 15 m, trait, abyssal dread. Inside and out, the boat was the most macho shade of pink, and even the deck was soft and squishy. Under Qin Xian's and Xia Yubing's stunned gazes, the yacht pulled away from the island. On board, I browsed the exchange for a weapon. I'd wanted a firearm, but searched the whole market and found nothing. At this stage it was still a rarity, it seemed. The next best, and handiest, was a crossbow. The price wasn't outrageous. 20,000 planks, finished, with 20 bolts thrown in. I bought it outright and gave it a heft. The body was jet black all over, faintly heavy in hand, with the cold bite of metal. I walked to the gunwale and squeezed the trigger toward the distant sea. Thwip! The bolt left the string with a sharp whistle of cleaved air and struck a piece of driftwood 100 meters out dead on, the tail still humming. Impressive power. In the cabin, Luo Li hadn't given up, still trying to clear her name in the district channel. "Luo Li, Summer and I are completely innocent. Hu Ming, fabricating things like this, what's the point? Pry the hatch open. I'm fabricating? Look at the getup you're wearing. Day 1 and already rushing onto a guy's island. Who are you calling innocent? Pry the hatch open, and that's Summer. You just want to come kill me, don't you? Come on then. I'm sick of living anyway. Lay a finger on me. I dare you. Pry the hatch open. Even if you kill me, it won't change the fact that you stole another man's girl. You're an animal." I walked back into the cabin with the cold crossbow and sat down, looking at that rabid dog ID in the channel, my temple throbbing. This kid had completely lost it, striking the pose of a dead pig that doesn't fear boiling water, looking to drag everyone down with him and trash Luo Li's name for good. Killing him outright was actually letting him off easy. For someone like this, you had to hit where it hurt most, shatter, in front of everyone. The very lies he was counting on to turn things around. I turned to Luo Li. "Stop wasting words on him." I set the crossbow down on the table. "Isn't he telling the whole world we teamed up to scam people, that you betrayed him over a mouthful of water? Cursing him back is useless. Muddying the water is exactly what he wants." I pulled up the stream link and pushed it in front of her. "Don't you have 2 million followers? Go live. This time, don't clear your name. Just throw the evidence in their faces." Luo Li blinked. Then it clicked, and her eyes lit up bit by bit. "Right. Explain? Clarify? Too weak. This bastard is banking on you not being able to defend yourself." But in her hands, she happened to hold his entire chat log, from the groveling apologies to the vicious abuse once he ran out of water, to that black is white slander after she posted the lobster update. Every line, captured in screenshots, not one missing. Why should I suffer over his lies? She took a deep breath and opened the stream. Everyone. Luo Li before the camera was pale-faced but oddly calm. Earlier today, some people said my water giveaway was a scam, said I betrayed my boyfriend and teamed up with Mr. Summer to con you all. Today, I'll set the record straight, once and for all. She threw the stack of chat logs up one screenshot at a time. Hu Ming's two-faced act. Weeping for forgiveness one moment, hurling abuse the next. His back and forth of fawning and groveling when out of water, then spinning slander the instant he was refused. All of it laid bare before 2 million pairs of eyes. The timestamps were crystal clear, link by link, leaving no room for excuses. He says we've been together 5 years. He and I never went on a single proper date. Luo Li's voice was cold as ice. He says I betrayed him. When I was on the edge of heat stroke and asked him for water, all he did was paint pies in the sky. He says this giveaway is a scam. Who swept the last fresh water off the exchange, and who's been handing out all this water behind me. Everyone can figure out for themselves. After a few seconds of dead silence, the Damaku flipped completely, bursting like a dam toward Hu Ming and the few ringleaders. In the district channel, Hu Ming was still frantically spamming and roaring, but no one believed a single word of his anymore. I leaned against the sofa, watching this one-sided skinning, and smiled faintly. Lies. Confirming them is the bad move. Shattering them is what cuts off the root. The yacht came to a steady stop on the water, less than 10 meters from the beach. Crossbow in hand, I stood at the gunwale, looking down at the 4 wretched figures on the sand. Where's that streamer? Hu Ming, eyes bloodshot, glared dead at me. Tell her to get out here. Luo Li pulled on a long coat and walked to the gunwale. The sea breeze lifted her hair, revealing a face pale but composed. She looked at the snarling man on the sand, and the corner of her mouth curved into an icy smile. Hu Ming's cursing cut off abruptly. He stared at her blankly, like he didn't recognize her. Don't be in such a hurry to lose it. She raised her phone, screen aimed at him. My stream's still running. Everything you just said, 2 million people are watching. She bloomed into a strange, stunningly beautiful smile. I'm keeping the stream on, so that everyone can get a good, long look at exactly what becomes of a man who spreads lies. Before Hu Ming's contorted face, before all of the Jiangxing district, Luo Li went live. The viewer count blew past the cap almost instantly, a plus, jittering endlessly after the 99.99 plus. Damaku flooded in and drowned the entire screen in moments. Luo Li didn't look at the Damaku. She just gave the camera a casual wave, like greeting an old friend. Then, unhurried, she turned the camera toward the man at her side holding the crossbow. Let me introduce someone. This is Summer. She turned the camera back to her own face, pale but bewitching, and gave a soft laugh. The district channel was lively just now. Lots of people cursing me out, and pretty viciously too. That man, Hu Ming, my ex-boyfriend. She leaned hard on the word ex, full of mockery. He thinks I'm his property, so when I wouldn't give him water, he lost his mind and started biting at everyone like a stray dog. You tell me, a man who has to beg others for so much as water, how much of what he says is worth believing? She skimmed the racing Damaku and picked out a question. Should we kill him? I don't know. That's up to Mr. Summer. Either way, my innocence has already been laid out today in front of 2 million people. She tucked a stray lock of white hair behind her ear, and that heart-stopping face made the stream stall for a beat. So, everyone, watch what you say. This place isn't like before. Run your mouth, and someone really can come find you through the screen. And here, killing you isn't even against the law. On the beach, Hu Ming heard every word of it crystal clear, each one like a ringing slap to the face. He shook with rage and reflexively looked for something to throw, but there was nothing underfoot except sand, so he grabbed a fistful like a madman and flung it at the yacht. The sea breeze blew most of it straight back into his own face. Ack! My eyes! He rolled on the sand in pain, his wretchedness almost comical. The Damaku detonated. Holy crap, this guy's so useless he can blind himself throwing sand. I thought there'd be some epic showdown, and this is it? Lame, I'm out da. Brutal, just brutal. Caught red-handed spreading lies, and now a public execution in front of hundreds of thousands. TSK. Turns out Boss Summer's this young and handsome. I figured he'd be some greasy middle-aged dude. I looked down at the wailing Huming. Any last words? Say them now. This offer expires. Before he could even surface from the pain, his 3 teammates broke down first. At the sight of the crossbow in my hand, they dropped to their knees in a row. Boss Summer, mercy. This has nothing to do with us. Right. We told him not to run his mouth in the channel. He wouldn't listen. We're innocent. Please let us go. The 3 of them were a snotty, tearful mess. I was speechless. They made it sound like I was some bloodthirsty fiend. I was just here to take out the trash, not slaughter the innocent. If Huming hadn't pushed it this far, I wouldn't have wanted to draw blood on the first day of survival. I waved a hand impatiently. Move aside. The 3 of them scrambled away as if pardoned, fleeing to the far corner of the island, wishing they could bury themselves in the sand. I raised the crossbow again, the bolt's tip glinting cold in the setting sun. Nothing to say? Then I have a few words. Those lies you spread to the whole world today. How innocent we are, who swept up the water and who handed it out. 2 million people see it clearly now. That water you bet your life trying to muddy is clearer than anyone's. Those few lines stabbed into the place he refused to admit. The whole story he'd staked everything on, shattered in public. Not even his last shred of dignity left intact. He snapped his head up, bloodshot eyes glaring at me, grabbing fistfuls of sand and flinging them at the yacht. Screw you, Summer. Even as a ghost, I won't let you off, you pair of. The words cut off. Thwip. A whistle of cleaved air wrapped in cold light went in through his open mouth and burst out the back of his neck. The cursing stopped dead. His body twitched a few times, then crumpled like a heap of mud, blood swiftly staining the sand red. Dead silence. That bloody scene was broadcast through the camera to every single person. With a single bolt, I gave everyone in the Jiangsheng district a simple, easy-to-understand lesson. Trouble comes from a loose tongue. Don't run your mouth, and especially don't run it about Summer, or I really will come find you through the screen. You. I pointed at the one trembling hardest in the corner. Go check if he's good and dead. The man flinched, inched shakily over to the body, checked for breath, then snapped his hand back and nodded frantically at me. Only then did I turn, toss the crossbow back into the cabin, step over beside Luo Li, and face the millions of viewers to deliver my last line. From now on, if anything like this happens again, everyone on that island shares the punishment. As the words landed, the Damaku went berserk. Some fervently worshipped my methods, some sneered and called me brutal, but either way, every one of them came to feel a sense of dread toward me. On the little island, Qin Xin and Xia Yubing looked at the corpse in the pool of blood, a chill shooting from their souls straight to the crowns of their heads. Too brutal. It's only day 1, and he's already sailing out to sea to kill people. The 2 of them thought, in unison, of Lin Feng and Xiao Shangnan. If he can kill Huming, why not these 2? And little Li's behavior is so strange. Huming was someone she'd dated. After all, how could she watch him die with a smile on her face? Pale-faced, Qin Xin fumbled to send Lin Feng a voice message. Lin Feng, whatever you do not provoke Xiaoshang. Lin Feng had of course watched the stream, his heart still pounding. Right now he was immensely grateful that he'd kept a fairly courteous attitude with Xiaoshang all along, and even more grateful that he wasn't a fool like Huming, charging head-on at someone he knew had a voyage beast. After steadying himself, he replied, "Don't worry, baby. I'm not like Huming. I'm not stupid. You sit tight. I'll come get you as soon as I can." Qin Xion's voice cracked. "I'm so scared. What if he won't let us leave when the time comes? I'll figure something out." Lin Feng paused. "Don't do anything rash for now. That guy's ruthless. Avoid butting heads if you can. Safety first, understand? Wait for me." Qin Xian nodded. She wouldn't dare provoke Xiaoshang now. Hanging up, she grabbed Xia Yubing's hand. "Yubing, do you think? What's going on in little Li's head?" She was genuinely scared. Earlier, out of jealousy, she'd said some harsh things to Luo Li. What if she held a grudge? Xia Yubing saw her worry and reassured her. "Relax, little Li isn't that kind of person." But she could just watch Huming die. That was Huming bringing it on himself. Xia Yubing was closest to Luo Li and understood her best. "When she comes back, give her a sincere apology and it'll be fine." Qin Xian's heart was still in knots, but she could only nod weakly. Elsewhere, Bai Jingxi had watched the whole stream too. That pink yacht, that tempting Australian lobster, those clean pretty clothes on Luo Li, and that line Xia Shang had said to her earlier, 30 liters of water for your team, you come stay on my island a few days, the rest you decide for yourself. Far from making her shrink back, Xia Shang's bloody methods were like oil poured on a spark in her heart, the fire burning hotter and hotter. She glanced back at her boyfriend Lucio, chatting away with their two teammates, spit flying. Damn, that Summer's insane. Killed the guy right at his door. Su Kong curled his lip, unimpressed. Methods are too crude. Keep that up and he'll make enemies everywhere. Just throwing his weight around because he's got resources. Zhou Lin nudged Lucio. You still admire him? He's cornered the whole district's fresh water. Who dare not do what he says? The day he wants the water on your team, you gonna give it up? Lucio laughed it off. That's not something to worry about now. We keep our heads down. He's got no reason to come bother us. Zhou Lin turned his gaze to Bai Jingxi, half smiling. Jingxi, be honest, you envious of that Luo Li? Before Bai Jingxi could answer, Lucio jumped in to reply for her. Brother Zhou's just teasing you. What's the use being envious? We don't have that kind of luck. Bai Jingxi gave an awkward twitch of her lips and lowered her head, her gaze falling on her own hands, a little cracked from lack of water, as she silently calculated. I have to find the right moment and get that question out. I happen to be short on expansion blueprints. The exchange had them too, but at a markup, and every bit saved counts. Summer, I'll take all the electronic components. How many expansion blueprints do you have? Wu Yushan, boss, so sorry. I've only got one electronic component left, but the expansion blueprint's still here. A 10 square meter one. My brow rose slightly, but I didn't hold it against him. I'd replied late, after all. Summer, fine. How are you selling it? Wu Yushan, same as before, Clay. And that electronic component, consider it a gift from me as an apology. It was unfair of me. Please don't take it to heart. Next time I get something good, I'll set it aside for you first. Summer, it's fine. Somebody forcing you to sell to others. Wu Yushan, boss, don't put me on the spot, crying laughing. I didn't press further. Can't force a guy to do business with me alone. After transferring him 10,000 clay, I also swept up 21 square meter expansion blueprints off the exchange. Getting the island to 50 square meters on day one would be a nice round milestone, since 50 was the cap for a level 1 island anyway. I stood on the sand, in a flick of thought. Wood minus 2,000, stone minus 5,000, clay minus 6,000. The instant the resources were deducted, a familiar violent tremor ran through the ground beneath me. Not far off, Qin Xian and Xia Yubing cried out and dropped onto the soft sand, clutching it tight. This was even more violent than the last expansion. Under the bright moonlight, the calm sea ahead began to churn, bubbling and gurgling, as if some colossal thing were about to burst from the water. A brand new stretch of land surged up from the sea. Rumble. The two stretches of land slammed together hard, kicking up a ring of white spray, and finally fused into one, the island's edge extending outward. Congratulations to player Xiaoshang, the first in the Jiangxing district to expand an island to 30 square meters. Reward: Epic Chest ×1, Basic Water Purifier ×1, Climate Controller Blueprint ×1. Qin Xian and Xia Yubing lifted their heads, staring at the land conjured from nothing. 30 square meters? Qin Xian murmured. It's only day one. How is he doing this? Xia Yubing's face was full of shock too, one thought looping in her head. Where on earth are the resources coming from? He spent the whole day just enjoying himself, never once fished a chest. How could he possibly have this many resources? The reward wasn't bad for me. The purifier and climate controller were both essentials. While I was still mulling it over, the cabin door creaked open. A freshly showered Luo Li stepped out in a new pair of black tights. After a whole day of being tossed around at sea and seeing blood with her own eyes for the first time, she was still a bit weak in the body, but her pretty face was beaming with joy right now. Whoa, it's huge. You could practically run shuttle sprints out here. You like him big? I asked offhand. Of course, lost in her excitement, she blurted without thinking. This much space, it feels like half a badminton court. I smiled and didn't take that bait, pulling out the stack of 1 square meter expansion blueprints again. Wood minus 4,000, stone minus 10,000, clay minus 12,000. If the last one was violent, this was earth-shattering. The whole island felt like it was heaved up from the seabed and slammed back down. Luoli shrieked and grabbed my arm on instinct. This time what rose from the sea wasn't one stretch of land, but a whole expanse. Under the moonlight, that newborn land came with the force of a moving mountain and collided thunderously with the existing island. Congratulations to player Xiaoshang, the first in the Jiangxing district to expand an island to 50 square meters. Reward: Epic Chest ×2, Basic Water Purifier ×2, Climate Controller Blueprint ×2. The moment the district announcement dropped, my friends' list flashed like a popped firecracker, and the district channel erupted too. Holy crap! Boss is incredible. 50 square meters. It's 50 already. Boss, you selling that spare climate controller? I'll pay top price, name it. I take back what I said before. Boss Summer isn't a god. He's an honest-to-God immortal descended to Earth. How many resources is this? 50 square meters has got to be the cap for a level 1 island. Heh, just the expansion's 8,000 wood, 20,000 stone, 24,000 clay, and that's not counting the blueprints. Chew on that, da. El Mayo, second place on the expansion board, is 19 square meters. Boss Summer's at 50. Comparing people just kills you, da. Beside me, Luo Li was utterly mesmerized, light rippling in her eyes, reflecting my profile silvered by the moon. This junior, he's so strong it makes her knees weak. I cleared my throat. Go pick a cabin off the exchange. See if you want a 2-story one or one with a bigger single floor. Luo Li nodded hard. This was a job she was more than glad to do. Otherwise, she'd have no sense of involvement in building the island. Humming a little tune, she happily started browsing. I took the chance to check the island info. Island level, LV1, area, 50 SQM. Structure, single cabin, upgrade notice. Your island has reached its current limit. The vast ocean holds infinite possibilities for evolution. Seek out and offer 50 Hearts of the Sea to upgrade your island. Hearts of the Sea? I frowned slightly. This was the first I'd heard of it. As for where to get them, I'd probably only find out once tomorrow's grace period ended. Just then, Luo Li, after browsing a good while, called out excitedly, "Junior, this one. A 20 square meter 2-story cabin with its own bathroom. A 20 square meter, 2-story, 40 square meters across both floors. Even counting Qin Xian and Xia Yubing, that was more than enough. Sure, that one. How many resources?" The smile on her face crumpled at once, and she quoted the price with a pang. 10,000 planks, 8,000 stone, 15,000 clay. Without a word, I traded the resources straight over. Thanks, Junior. Luo Li excitedly bought the blueprint and was about to build it when she looked over with a long face. Building it costs another 5,000 planks. This system's such a robber. Why not just go mug people? But this time she didn't ask me for it. Instead, she gritted her teeth and spent the resources I'd given her earlier. The blueprint instantly turned into a beam of white light and shot into the air. Then, countless planks materialized above the island's center, dancing, weaving, and interlocking on their own, and an exquisite 2-story cabin took shape from illusion to reality, drifting down under the moonlight to settle at the island's heart. The cabin was rather grand. Even Qin Xian couldn't resist snapping a photo. She'd meant to send it to Lin Feng to lift his spirits, but her finger paused. The man couldn't scrape together so much as a plank for shelter right now. While over here, she was moving into a grand 2-story cabin. Sending this photo wasn't encouragement. It was twisting a knife in his heart. Her expression complicated. She finally closed the chat with a sigh and just posted the photo to her own feed instead. Just then something occurred to Xia Yubing. She glanced at the envious Qin Xian, then looked toward that small but weatherproof old cabin in the distance, and lowered her voice. "Xiao Xian, I'll get Little Li to come out later. While you're apologizing to her, I'll ask, see if we can borrow that old cabin to stay in for a few days." Something stirred in Qin Xian, and she nodded hard. "Okay, got it." Over here, Luo Li yanked the cabin door open and rushed in first. A faint scent of pine wood washed over her. This cabin was more than a cut above the last one. Well lit and comfortable, spacious and bright. The The walls seamlessly joined, the floors sanded smooth and even, a simple candle chandelier hanging from the ceiling casting a warm, gentle glow. At the far end of the room, a bathroom was partitioned off, big enough for 3 bathtubs. She thudded up to the second floor, same airy, bright layout as the first. Luo Li couldn't hold back any longer and flopped spread eagle onto the spotless floor, staring blankly at the ceiling. In this survival world where death could come at any moment, she'd actually build a home with her own hands. Sure, it wasn't bought with her own resources, but she'd built it and decorated it herself. I went back to the old cabin first, packed the sofa, purifier, and so on into my pack, then set them up in the new place. Luo Li didn't sit idle either, buying up a bunch of furniture blueprints and getting to work outfitting the new home. Junior, how about the sofa here by the window? You can see the sea. Put the table in the middle, easier for meals. This vanity. I'm putting it upstairs. When it was all done, the two of us slumped onto the sofa and let out a long breath. She looked at the brand new home, warm lighting, fully furnished, every corner showing her effort and taste, and an unprecedented sense of accomplishment and security welled up. So, Junior, my taste's not bad, huh? I looked around and had to admit, women really do have a gift for setting up a home. She'd taken an ordinary structure and, just like that, given it the warmth of a place to live. Not bad. It's starting to feel like a home, right? I smiled and set the 3 epic chests, glowing with an eerie purple light, side by side on the floor, and looked at her. Want to open a few blind boxes? Try your luck? 3 chests stood in a row on the floor. Epic tier. 3 whole ones. Luo Li's breath caught. A chest like this, she might not see one in a lifetime of fishing. Yet here, I had them like cabbages sold by the crate. You're really letting me open them? She pointed at her own nose, her voice unsteady. My luck's terrible, don't blame me later. I nodded. I was, in fact, curious just how lopsided this upperclassman's luck could get. If it was really as absurd as legend, I'd have to quarantine her from chest opening going forward. Give it a shot, I said. My first epic chest gave me bisui. With that rarity, even the worst is still floored at a decent level. Makes sense. Luo Li rubbed her hands together, took a deep breath, and traced random shapes in the air with all 10 fingers. By the powers of heaven and earth, give me a massage chair, pretty please. She grabbed the lid and flung it open. No golden light, no spectacle, just a system tone going off in our heads. Congratulations, you've obtained Luxury Pool Blueprint, 20 SQM. Luo Li's smile froze, and she kicked the chest. Call it bad. Building a pool on the island was a luxury in its own right. But compared to me pulling an epic voyage beast and hitting the district announcements on my very first open, it was small change. Ugh, seriously just the one? She glared at the second chest, then remembered her own luck and deflated. I smiled. The first one usually flops. One more. If the next one's no good, she said suspiciously. You're not going to use that as an excuse to mess with me, are you? I need an excuse? Fair point. I tipped my chin. Open it. Nobody can call which way the luck magic goes. It's not like me going up guarantees a jackpot. The system was handing them out free anyway. It was just for fun. At that, Luo Li's spirits picked back up. Next one. This time, a miracle for sure. She pressed the lid. I want a big bed. The super soft kind. Give it to me, open. Congratulations, you've obtained Greenery Material Pack, 10 plant species. Uffed. Even I couldn't hold it in and laughed. 1 pool, 1 greenery pack. She wanted furniture, and the system kept handing her outdoor landscaping, going out of its way to give her the exact opposite of what she asked for. That settled it. Next chest. I absolutely could not let her touch it. Luo Li stamped her feet in frustration. This was worlds away from the scene she'd imagined. Golden light everywhere, baskets full of divine artifacts. I walked over and gave her shoulder a squeeze. This kind of thing, I'd better handle. From now on, you just lie back and enjoy. Jerk. She landed a punch on me. Why do you keep saying stuff like that? Ignoring her, I walked straight to the last chest. I didn't open it right away. Both hands on the lid, I glanced back at her. Then I lifted it just a sliver. Golden light blasted out through the crack, and the whole cabin was instantly set ablaze in brilliance. Walls, floor, ceiling, all plated in a dazzling gold. Luo Li threw up a hand on reflex to shield her eyes. Snap! I pressed the lid back down. The golden light died, and the candlelight crept back into the corners. I said nothing, just raised an eyebrow. Luo Li rushed over and grabbed my arm, shaking it hard. Open it. Is it another voyage beast? That golden light. I want a pet too. I smiled, said, open, put my strength into it, and threw the lid all the way back. Golden light flooded the room again, dazzling us both into squinting, leaving us to peer at its source through the gaps in our fingers. Congratulations, you've obtained Defense Robot Epic Blueprint. The light faded. At the bottom of the chest lay a single blueprint, and under its faint red glow was a humanoid machine of intricate lines. I picked it up. Defense Robot Epic. Materials: iron parts times 350, electronic components times 130, plastic times 400, rubber times 200, smart core times 10, silicone times 100. A list that long, and I knew at a glance this was no small thing. The materials were absurdly excessive. The smart core alone, I'd never even heard of. But once it was built, I'd never have to fear a sea beast again. Luo Li leaned her little head in, looked at the blueprint, then at me, with an expression that practically accused. Same chest opening. How can the gap between people be this wide? Is this game rigged in my favor or something? She looked again, and her expression turned odd. This many materials, who knows when it'll ever get built? Huh? Why? Does it even need silicone? This robot, is it built to guard the island, or to move in and play house? After Luo Li went out, I opened my chat with Wu Yushan and copied-pasted that long material list for the robot straight over. Me. These, can you make them? It was a good while before the reply came, every line steeped in difficulty. Wu Yushan. Boss, we're a handicraft workshop, not an arms factory. Wu Yushan. 4 of us doing nothing but decomposing for you would still take half a year. Wu Yushan. And that smart core? We don't even have the recipe blueprint for it. There's genuinely no way. I'd expected as much. Counting on a 4-person squad to assemble all the materials for an epic tier item was a pipe dream from the start. Me. Make whatever you can first. Iron parts and plastic are the biggest needs, so get moving on those. Whatever you can't break down, I'll figure out myself. The other end was silent for a long while. I could picture the few of them huddled together, arguing red-faced over an order too big for anyone to dare sign off on. After a beat, a reply finally squeezed out. Wu Yushan, we can do it, boss. We'll start right away, but could we maybe take a few orders from other people too? My first thought was that they found the price low and wanted to raise it. Before I could say anything, the next line chased after it. Wu Yushan, please don't get the wrong idea. It's absolutely not about the price being low. We just want to leave the team another path. Wu Yushan, to make up for it, we'll discount the labor fee for you. 1,000 milliliters of water per piece. Does that work? I raised an eyebrow. This wasn't a discount. It was a fire sale, from 1,500 milliliters a piece straight down to 1,000 milliliters. With them lowering themselves this much and showing this much sincerity, I had no reason to squeeze further. Me. Fine, get on it as soon as you can. Me. Pick up the finished product materials for me on the side too. I'll front 15,000 resources. Manage it as you see fit. With that, I traded over 5,000 units each of the 3 base resources. This kind of tedious busy work was too much hassle. I just wanted to be a hands-off boss. Besides, I knew their coordinates. No fear of anyone welching. The other end was clearly stunned by this massive injection of resources. Wu Yushan, boss. This is way too much. Me. Handle it however you want. I just want the materials. Once everything's gathered, we'll settle up. Wu Yushan. Wu Yushan, thank you for trusting us, boss. Don't worry, it'll be handled perfectly. I closed the chat, paid no more mind to the excited bunch on the other end, and got up to go install the 3 basic water purifiers from the system rewards.